What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you doing this evening, big dog?
Hey, come on, man. It's 7 o'clock and I'm talking about with the dogs, man. So I'm feeling good, feeling great.
Absolutely. And I know what tonight consists of, man. It's the Super Bowl recap, man. We just had the biggest game of the year played this past Sunday. I know everybody had everybody over at their cribs, they over at their family's crib, had the spread laid out. We done talked about snacks on the last episode. The boys done got on my head, you know what I mean? Because I took it so literal. I apologize to everybody, but your boy had some rotel and some wings for sure. You know what I'm saying? So your boy got a chance to kind of correct that. Wifey wasn't having no cheese and crackers in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So had to go through that. But of course, we're gonna give y'all a recap of the Super Bowl on this show. We also got a couple other things for y'all. But before we get into any of that, we gotta go through the house rules, man. They are the same as always. There's like, there's share, there's subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. Become the newest member of the film fam. Holler at your partners, let them know what's going on so they can come in and get some of this. And then also be in the know of what me and Willie Jack got going on. And I guarantee you, if you do all those things, we will not let you down. Willie Jack, because we got right news today, or actually no news today, I think it's about time we go ahead and jump right into it, Willie Jack. How you feeling about that? You want to get right to it, dog?
Yeah. Like I said, man, I don't think it's been a quiet post Super Bowl couple days. So yeah, let's go ahead and do something fun real quick, man. Warm everybody up.
Absolutely, man. And the thing that we decided to do today, man, is we wanted to do a top 10 power rankings, man. Knowing what we know today after this 2023-2024 NFL season, we want to do a top 10 power rankings as far as the teams going into the 2024 season. So, Willie Jack, I think it's about time. I'm gonna turn it over to you, man, and let you kick this thing off and do it how we used to doing it, man. Do our rankings, man, starting from 10, counting down to 1, man. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
And man, and you know what? I've been looking at my team at 10, and it just ain't sitting right, Chop. It just ain't sitting right. And so I'm gonna make a late edit here to this list. You know what I'm gonna do, man? At 10, I don't feel good about 10.
Talk to me.
I don't feel good about 10, man. I don't.
Well, that mean it ain't the Rams then, because I know you're gonna feel good about them boys. But go ahead.
No, and you know what? I did take into consideration the Rams as well. You know what I mean? I did consider y'all 10. I had like 3-4 teams I was looking at. Just didn't feel great about any of them. What I am gonna end up gonna do though, right here on the spot, on the money. Unpopular pick, I could tell, but I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. And this is my thinking, right? And literally, I was looking down at my list. I had a feeling you was finna throw it to me, and I just didn't like. It just didn't feel good. And so I was like, I had to make a quick change. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. And this is what I'm telling myself. Is I'm not ready to just completely throw them away. Now we know what happened this past year. It just fell apart. But I think a lot of that had to do with they lost their offense coordinator and defense coordinator, and they replaced them with bums. Respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, they downgraded drastically. You know what I mean? And so they really weren't able to recover. And so now I am curious to see how Kellen Moore affects this offense for sure. But I think Vic Fangio is going to have a chance to fix and improve this defense, which really was a letdown. And like I said, and I still like the core talent that he got there. I still am a fan of Jalen Hurts. I still love A.J. Brown. I really am a fan and really like what Devontae Smith's got going on as well. You know what I mean? So I still like the core of that offensive line. Now we know Jason Kelce is looking like he's going to retire, but that offensive line is still stout, pillar to post. That defensive line, they'll probably move on from some of those elder statesmen. Fletcher Cox is probably going to go ahead and gracefully find somewhere else to play to finish out his career. Brandon Graham probably the same, but they prepared for this. They already got Jordan Davis there. You've got Jalen Carter, who was in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So they've already got kind of pieces in place to kind of replenish that defensive front as well. And so I'm not ready to give up on them. I think last year they just were ill prepared for the loss of those stud coordinators that they had. And so this year now, especially you got hit in the mouth a little bit. Now this is the chance where you get to kind of regroup regroup, come back, understand you got those flaws are exposed. They're known now, and so now we can attack the problems and see if we can get back to a team that was on the precipice of a championship just 2 years ago. And so yeah, I'll go with the Eagles.
Absolutely, Willie Jack. And you know what? I'm not mad at you about this spot. I'm not mad at you. I don't know where other people would view them. I don't know if people will still view them as well, not necessarily as the powerhouse they once were, but this might surprise you even more, Willie Jack. They ain't even on my top 10 list.
No, honestly, I just put them on. Like they wasn't on initially. So, I just put them on as well. So I'm not shocked.
But I understand though, because they're in the area for me. For me, they fell within their range of the top 12 for sure. And that was off the strength of, you gotta remember, 14 teams go to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So top 14 it gets you in. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like it or not. And that was 10 wins. That was 9-10 wins at the very least. I think it was 9 wins only on the NFC. That was 10 wins in the AFC. You had to get in with at least 10 wins. So we're talking about a 10-win ball club. And part of the reason they didn't make it is because what I saw from Jalen Hurts when he had to more so kind of put the team on his back. Not necessarily saying that he can't, but not necessarily put the team on his back with the style of play that he had to utilize this past year. And then, like you said, losing Jason Kelce, that's your center, man. That's one of the most important relationships, you know what I'm saying, on the field. You know, so that was one of the things that I kind of took into consideration. But I still got them as a playoff team. I think they're going to regroup, get some things in order, and I expect them to come back, you know, and still make the playoffs. But I just don't have them as one of my top 10. We'll talk about top 10, big dog. You know what I'm saying? So. Hey, they still in that conversation for me.
Now, like I said, I ain't mad at it, man. And just like you said, man, I had there's 10 to 14 for me was all kind of jumbled in there. So I'm not mad at that at all.
Absolutely. But I'll get to my number 10, Willie Jack. And we're gonna do it the way we normally do our rankings. So I'm gonna do 10-9. I'm gonna do 10-9, and then you come back with 9-8. You know how we do it. And my number 10 team, I had to go with the Cowboys, man. I went with the Cowboys. I thought about a lot of different things when in regards to this team, and on paper, we had a conversation about on paper for the Cowboys a couple maybe a season or two ago, Willie Jack.
On paper, we can have that conversation every year.
They
might as well be the on paper Cowboys, but they might as well be.
So I had to take in consideration what they are, and still having the amount of regular season success that they normally have, but then in combination with just us knowing them going into the playoffs right now, there's a good chance that they may not make it too far into the playoffs. You know, so just looking at it from that point of view, it's like I got to put a cap on how far I can rank them. You know what I'm saying? Especially in comparison to some of the other teams that are going to be mentioned on this list as we continue to go through it. I had to put a cap on it, you know, especially with the amount of pressure continuing to build with this team too, because they continue to fall short of going far in the playoffs, man. So I got the Cowboys at my number 10 spot for my rankings, which leads me into my number 9 team. Okay. Then my number 9 team is a team that actually knocked them boys off in the playoffs. And that is the Green Bay Packers, man. I like the way the Green Bay Packers look this season. Well, actually, not necessarily the entire season, but towards the end of the season. And the thing that's more promising about this team is the difference in what we saw from Jordan Love at the beginning of the season, and then now towards the end. Towards the end, that boy was playing top 7 ball, you know what I'm saying, especially with just how the quarterbacks look towards the end of the season anyway. He was playing some really good ball. And if he continues to develop and build off the success that he had, I think he's only going to be more confident next year. He's got his first full season under his belt as a starter. He's had his ups. He's had his downs. He's been through a lot of those different things. A lot of their players will be back. So now it's just, okay, Jordan Love, building off of that. It's like, all right, I've been here before. I even got a playoff win. So I got a little bit of playoff success now in my first year as a starter. So now I come back, and those rookies, well, not those rookies, but the young Jaden Reed, he's going to be hit in his second year. You expect him to continue to develop. Hopefully, Christian Watson comes back healthy. Then you got Romeo Doubs that was showing to be a consistent guy on this team. They have a lot to be kind of excited about moving forward. So Green Bay Packers, man, they are my number 9 team going into this next season.
Now I like both those selections, and honestly, I'll probably hold off giving like a direct review because they're both coming up on my list. I've got both of those teams a little higher, so I'll hold on because they not too far away.
Perfect.
So
Hey, and the way that this sounds, Willie Jack, I got a feeling maybe the middle is gonna be all jumbled up. We gonna have me and you gonna have a lot of different teams. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see what your list is gonna look like in comparison to mine, man. But come on back with your 9.
I think my next team I'm going for 9. I don't know if they'll be on your list, especially if they wasn't in 10 or 9, and they probably not. But other than that, I would imagine we probably gonna have some similar teams, but maybe in some different places. I would think, but we'll see. Number 9 for me. Now this is the one where I probably went a little off the reservation because this isn't a playoff team.
Okay.
But number 9 for me, I'm going Cincinnati and Joe Burrow's Bengals. And the point of it is just Joe Burrow, just the way this year started. And so it took him 5 games to get revved up after suffering the injury late in training camp. Took him 5 games to get started. And then for the next 3 games, he looked absolutely unstoppable. You know what I mean? So like we had 3 games of invincible Joe out there doing what Joe does. They were the hottest, most dangerous 3 and 5 team that nobody wanted to play in the league. And then he goes down again. And so, and then even the thing about it, when he went down, this team, kudos to Zach Taylor and that coaching staff, but they've maintained some competitiveness with Jake Browning for a great while. Now they fizzled out, you know what I mean? They couldn't actually get over the hump, all the way to make it to the playoffs. But this is a team that what they started, maybe it was 0-4. They started 0-4, maybe they start 1-5, and they still finish, and then they lose a top 3 tier 1 quarterback in Joe Burrow, one of the guys at the very top of the position in this league. They still finish above 500. They still finish above 500. Like I said, they finished 9-8. They didn't have a losing season facing all the adversity that they did. And so now I'm thinking, okay, Joe Burrow will take a mulligan. He's coming back, assuming now he's going to be fully, completely, and utterly healthy is what I'm banking on. And then now I'm still looking for a team that is going to maintain, I guess, the more crucial parts of their roster. Now, they are going to have some movement. T. Higgins is a free agent. His contract is up. It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to afford to keep him. And then Tyler Boyd is also up. But Tyler Boyd has kind of been like the forgotten son in this offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know his name, but we haven't seen his game in a while. You know what I'm saying? He shows up like 3 games a season or three games every 4 months. And, you know what I'm saying? We get a Tyler Boyd sighting, but he hasn't necessarily been an integral part of this offense. And so I'm not honestly as concerned with that, besides losing a veteran voice in the locker room or whatnot. But the T. Higgins, likely leaving, that is troublesome unless they can work something out, or I don't know how the franchise situation plays out. I like the young guy Brown to replace Joe Mixon, so I'm not worried there. The issues with this team, that the constant issue is still trying to solidify that offensive line. They are going to likely lose their right tackle Jonah Williams to free agency as well, but it's still one of those things where offensive line ain't slowed Joe down. Now, the year he went to the Super Bowl, he got sacked 12 times against the number 1 Tennessee Titans on the road, and you know what he did? Balled out, through 300 yards, and won and took his team to the Super Bowl. So Joe is a cut. Like, this is the regular for Joe. You know what I'm saying? Having poor offensive line play. Now, we don't want to keep that going, of course, with the injury, but I'm still taking healthy Joe Burrow. He's still got Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? Batman just need Robin. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rest of the sidekicks, Alfred's cool, Batgirl is cool. Yeah, y'all cool. Batman got Robin. We can still make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with the Bengals to bounce back and look more so like the team we saw in that 3 to 4 week stretch with healthy Joe versus the team we saw for those first 6-7 games as a whole.
I got you. Hey, I ain't mad at that one, man. I'm not mad at that Bengals pick at all. You know what I'm saying? I am a little concerned about some of the players that won't be there. But I ain't mad at it. I just put it like that. I ain't mad at it, big dog.
Yeah. And then I'm rolling to 8. So number 8 for me, this is where I've got and I kind of see 6, 7, 8. I've mixed around a lot. So 6, 7, 8 is all kind of bunched up for me. But right now, I'm gonna tell you number 8 is where I got Dallas. So I got Dallas here at 8.
Okay.
And so and much like you said, man, we know about the regular season success. We saw the tremendous offensive, you know what I'm saying, prowess they displayed throughout the bulk of this season. Now a couple stale moments, so to say, throughout the season. But for the most part, outside of the first half of the Green Bay game and like maybe two others, this offense was damn near unstoppable at points. Tremendously explosive year, career year for a young CD Lamb. I think this is probably Dak's best year as well. I think definitely statistically, and so we've seen the progress they've made there. I think honestly, there's an argument that they could have even been a little higher, honestly, but I don't know what they're going to do on this defense. They lose Dan Quinn. That defense had been a weak spot, an open sore that they just kind of couldn't remedy. And now you got Mike Zimmer coming in with a completely different scheme and philosophy as opposed to what they've used to. And from what I know about Zimmer's scheme and his defensive personality, they got to do a lot of movement to get the right personnel on this defense to kind of really be able to fit and execute what Zim wants to do. And so a defensive weak spot is only that much greater now. You know what I'm saying? And until we see what they're gonna do as far as the personnel on the defense, then also they've got to figure out a way to fix this run game. And so we saw the offense and the passing game, namely, really kind of carry the toll for them throughout this whole season. But they've got to find a way to add some more balance back into this offense for sure, because Dak is great until it's just like the old saying, like too much like sugar is sweet until it gives you a cavity. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I feel about Dak's game. It's great when we get him in the right dose. You know what I'm saying? But when we get too much Dak, things go wrong. Things fall off the rails a little bit. You know what I mean? And so that's the only worry there. And so, but other than that, man, like I said, this is I really like the strides we saw, man, from Dak and CD and just that offense and that pass game specifically. Like Dak was out there lighting it up, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you had Dak as your MVP. I had him as my personal first team all-pro quarterback because of the way he performed in totality. I mean, he was lights out, man, as far as just pure statistical player, whatever you want to call it, but just pure play at the position, just lighting it up. I don't think anybody had a better individual just quarterback season than Dak Prescott did, man. And so I've got the Cowboys slided right there at 8. So what you had him at? Okay, yeah, you had him at 10. So I got him a little higher than you. Yeah, I got the Cowboys at 8.
Sorry. Hey, I ain't mad at that one either, Willie Jack. I ain't mad. Now here is where I start to mix this list up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna throw a little surprise at you because I'm looking at your list and how it's unfolding. I'm pretty sure this team might not have made your list, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them out there because this is also not a playoff team, Willie Jack. And I'm going to go with the New York Jets, man. The New York Jets as my team. And yeah, man. Yeah. And here's the reason why, man. I think quarterback play was huge for this team. It was bad all year long. And to the point where they pulled Zach Wilson, put Zach Wilson back in. Like there was so many different things.
He didn't even want to go back in after one point.
He didn't want to go back in. I don't know if they really wanted him back in. It was just like, man, we just got to do something, man. We got to just keep trying to mix this up. Yeah. And it was just that god awful. We also, on a positive note, though, I will say that we started to see that it was a possibility for them to win some games. They came in. Part of the reason that C.J. Stroud he exited with that injury and went away from the conversation of maybe being in the MVP discussion was when the Jets shut them out. Their defense is still something to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So their defense is holding good teams that are explosive to minimal points. So as long as their defense is still intact and Aaron Rodgers can come back and develop their relationship with that offense. And we also saw Breece Hall start to really get it going towards the end of the season and be, just that dog. Hey, that's going to open up. Him alone is going to open up a lot for this particular offense. Offensive line is still a little suspect, but when you got a veteran back there, man, they make up for a lot. You know what I'm saying? They make up for a lot. And I think that this team is going to be a much more competitive team, especially depending on how the schedule and everything else falls in play and what they do in the offseason, this team can be very, very dangerous to me. So I got the Jets as my number 8 team going into the season next year, man.
Okay, hold on. Don't even go to 7, cuz don't even go. We gotta talk about this. You mean to tell me that Green Bay goes to Dallas on the road? Dallas ain't lost a home game in 2 years. They 50 ball them. Mm-hmm. Spank them boys in their house on national television. Then they go to San Francisco and dog them out for about 54 minutes of a 60-minute ball game. This ain't, you got the Jets above those Packers?
Are you?
That feels that's a little rich, bruh.
That's
a little rich.
Hey, and that's okay. But what I saw from the Packers, though, I did see that I saw inconsistencies in that 49ers game. They should have won that game. The opportunities were laid there to them, and they didn't take advantage. Good teams take advantage of those type of things. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that if the Jets were in that position, they probably would have, because we don't know that. We have to see the Jets there. But I know one thing: when I've seen Aaron Rodgers, in a lot of those different situations when the pressure's at its high, I've seen him be able to control his team and be able to put them in the right position and do the right thing to come away with the wins in these games.
If Rodgers is on that Packers team, yeah, they win for sure. But see, Rodgers on that Jets team.
A Jets team with a much better defense.
Hey, Rodgers is 38, coming off an Achilles. Like, Kobe had to go to Germany and get like some German steroids in his Achilles to come back. I don't know if y'all remember that. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. the legend. But I don't know if A-Rod know Kobe's doctor. It's 38 coming off at Achilles.
Hey, man, I believe in Aaron Rodgers' hallucinants.
The ayahuasca. he done went into the woods. He hit a little bit of good ayahuasca.
My boy taking some different stuff. Hey, he gonna be all right. He gonna be just fine. As long as that arm good, you ain't gotta worry about it, brother.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, I ain't see that one coming. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna throw you for a few more loops, man. So I ain't done. I definitely ain't done.
Okay.
Here's my next team, though. My next team going into next season. I'm actually gonna go over to this one. Might surprise you too, and you may feel like, I got him a little bit too low, but hey, man, it is what it is. I'm going with the Lions, man. It's my number 17. The Lions are my number 17 going into the next season, and the reason why is because I feel like this was the Lions' cap. I think they're capped. I don't see the Lions being able to get over the hump that they made it to. I think I hate to do this to teams, but just with what I've seen from them, the capability, the talent that they have, and quite honestly, was part of the reason why I felt like I was happy with us having Stafford over Goff when we made that exchange, was that I think that Goff can kind of cap you because there's only so much he can do when a play actually breaks down. And without having a guy that can do something when the play breaks down, that limits you when you get into these really tough games where you need to make something happen. And if you don't have that other option there, which is the option to just improvise on the spot, that hurts your team. You know what I'm saying? And then we saw, as good as the Lions team was this past year, we saw them melt down too many times. I see them melt down in the regular season, and then ultimately melt down against the 49ers in that NFC Championship game that they have a lot of control over. So those are the type of things I think we're going to continue to see from this Detroit Lions team. This season, they just happened to make it to this particular point. I don't know if it's going to be as easy these next couple of years, in the NFC. And then quite frankly, too, they'll still be amongst one of the top three. I think top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC, but I just don't see them as like the overall powerhouse. If they had to go through the AFC, I don't know if we see them in an AFC Championship game, but because it's the NFC, they happen to get there. You know what I'm saying? By the hairs on their chin, you know what I'm saying, having to squeak past the Rams by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I view the Lions and why I got them down at the number 7 spot.
Okay. Yeah. I got the Lions on my list too. I got them a little higher. It does feel a tad low for me.
Hey, I understand but you look at the AFC, man. If you had to put them on some of them, get some AFC team, boy, that's rough over there, boy. It's rough. You gotta give them their credit because they got there, but still.
That's fair as well. Yeah, it feels a little low for you, boy.
I got
all right. Is it so it's on me. So I'm on
7. Give me your 7,
okay.
8, brother.
Okay, so 7 for me. Damn, see 6, 7, and 8. I keep moving.
Hey man, Man, this list was harder than I thought. I thought I was gonna be able to pull this list up and be like, oh man, this team. Man, it was harder than I thought, Willie Jack. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Like I got these. It's like I got kind of like groups of teams that just kind of keep moving around on me. Number 7 for me. Okay, 7 for me. I'm gonna go Green Bay at 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Green Bay at 7. And like I said, I know we kind of talked about them a little bit earlier. I'm a little higher on them, but like I said, I think what we saw, like I said, it was after their bye week. They definitely turned the corner, and so there was a 6-game stretch or so. I want to say after the bye week, and then I think into the playoffs where they just Jordan Love specifically really turned the corner. And just like my dog Chop said, man, he started looking like he started playing at some of the best ball in this league, bar none. You know what I'm saying? And so he was playing fantastic, culminating with the very impressive and dominant performance we saw them have in Dallas on the road. And then, like I said, and then also going to San Francisco and really taking it to would end up being the Super Bowl runner-up, San Francisco 49ers, and really taking it to them in their house as well for like 55 minutes of that game. You know what I mean? Like, and so they were firmly in control for a great part of that game. Or no, maybe not 55 minutes in that game. I think the Niners started picking it up in that second half. No. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna get bogged down. But the point is, they were firmly in control of that game. And like I said before, their inexperience and their youth kind of showed up. And then, like I said, the San Francisco 49ers were able to capitalize and do what they had to do to move forward. And so, but I see just where they're at now. They look like they've solved the most important piece of the puzzle. They got the quarterback right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's one thing Green Bay has shown us that they could do for the last 30 years, we'll find a quarterback. We'll go get a guy, you know what I'm saying? And we won't put him out. When we put him out there, know he's ready. You know what I mean? Like, and so they go get Brett Favre off the Atlanta Falcons bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, toss him in there. And then 15 years and 3 MVPs and a couple Super Bowl appearances later, he's in the Hall of Fame. We go get Aaron Rodgers. Let him sit down. Let him sit down and chill for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know Brett don't want to talk to you, but it's cool. Just wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? 3 years later, boom. Here you go. Now you can take this thing and run with it for a good 10, 15 years. You know what happens there? Another 3 MVPs. You know what I'm saying? Another Super Bowl appearance. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl win. And then same formula. You know what I'm saying? We see Jordan Love. Go ahead and sit there and chill. I know A-Rod don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about these Green Bay quarterbacks hating on their young backups. Like, all of them had friction. But that's the winning formula, I guess, because A-Rod wasn't fooling with Jordan Love either. But just so he sit there and wait your turn. And then 3 years go by. Hey, Jordan Love, man, pick his ball up and run with it. And then here we go. You know what I mean? So just like my dog Chop was saying in his evaluation, I agree. Like, this is a team that's young and definitely on the rise. They've got that young, talented core group of receivers that my dog talked about. These guys are only getting better. They're only getting more experience. You know what I'm saying? They're only getting more reps. And so, and especially like your first 2 years in the league, you're gonna progress the greatest that you will in your career as far as knowledge of the game, talent, or your ability. Like, you're gonna make those biggest jumps in these first 2 years of your career. Like, you might improve after that, but it won't be as massive steps. You know what I'm saying? And so this is a team that's like I said, that's just poised to really have a chance to really grow into something potentially special. You know what I mean? So I've got Green Bay there.
Okay. I'm with you. So we wasn't too far off, Willie Jack. We wasn't too far.
Yeah, we went too far. 6 for me, and like I said, I went back for 6, 7, 8 for me. I mixed and flipped them and flopped them a whole bunch of ways. 6 for me is where, and see, now I feel like all right. 6 for me, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going with my dog Big Josh. This is where I'm going with Big Josh and the Buffalo Bills. And I struggled where to place Josh in these Bills. They were as high as 6. Well, I guess they're 6 right now. They were as high as 6. They were as low as 9. But I think when it's all said and done, I finished there with 6. And the reason I end up and honestly, I just switched them again with Green Bay. And the reason is because, like I said, I do like I've got to give the edge in just the quarterback play, the most central part of the team. I give that edge to Josh Allen because he is more experienced. Like I said, he's firmly in his prime. And like when Josh Allen is on, there is no more dangerous weapon in this league. All right, just like combination. You know what I'm saying? I can throw the ball a mile. I can run through a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not another guy in this league that does it, that could do it in that way. And I think his play in the playoffs, not that it was like spectacular, lighted up, but it just shows that it showed me, especially in that game with the Steelers, like he could just completely just there's just nothing you can do to stop him if he's on. And then even in that Kansas City game, it showed me where there's nothing you can do to stop him if he's on, and if the rest of the team shows up. Stephon Diggs, golly, you know what I'm saying? Catch the ball, but you know what I'm saying. But it's all good. But so this is where I have Buffalo. But I am concerned. I think what you said when you talked about Detroit is if maybe they've kind of fizzled out. That's what worries me about Buffalo. Like they've been knocking their head against that glass ceiling, and they haven't found a way to break through. And then now, especially seeing the play of Stephon Diggs, especially that the back half of this last season where he just kind of disappeared. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I don't know if he's at that point. He's right. He's either 30, 31, and so like, is that a sign of like a decline on the way, or is it just he just got in a rut and couldn't get out? You know what I'm saying? But so that kind of worries me. That defense, when healthy and when they had their pieces, shows that it can be competent and competitive. You know what I mean? They had a lot of injuries on that side of the ball as well, so I'm looking for them to get back Matt Milano, the captain of their defense, the core central heartbeat of their defense. Well, you lose him early in the season with a broken leg. You know what I mean? Like, and then they some in and out injuries on that defensive line. So they had some stuff going on. So get those guys back, get those guys healthy. You still do have to figure out the receiver position. You've got to add something to that receiver room. That's for them a draft target. I don't know if there's going to be who's in free agency they could target, but you've got to get somebody else in that room to go with Stephon Diggs. There's even trade rumors. Maybe he's played his last down in Buffalo, so it may be one of those times where everybody's just kind of ready to move on both sides. You know what I mean? Maybe they try to make a move there, but they've got to get somebody in that room. I said T. Higgins might be on his way out of Cincinnati. Man, I'd love to see something like that, or at least in the draft. I know Gabe Davis, who's been getting on my damn nerves for about 2 years now as well. I'm ready to, you know what I'm saying? He's ready to hit free agency, so they still, even if you keep Diggs, you've got to find a number two, and the number two to upgrade, a more consistent number two than Gabe Davis gave you anyway. But you love the additions that the young tight ends that they've got in Greg Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Those guys show that they can be, they can be dynamic there. So I'm still giving Big Josh a little one more. I think this might be it though, man. I think one more time to really kind of break through before like I said, man, maybe this thing fizzles out and they have to tear it down and try to figure out something else.
Yeah, I look at it different, Willie Jack, because I just feel like as long as you got Josh Allen, I think they're gonna be fine. In terms of being the team that can make the playoffs or whatever the case may be. Yeah, they might have to take a couple steps back because they have to strip it, but that guy makes plays, man. And that's why I look at them different from the Lions too. But I'll get into that because they are on my list, Willie Jack. So I jump into my number 6. My number 6. Here we go. I knew my list was gonna be a little bit different, man. We stirring this pot today, baby. Another team that didn't make the playoffs. Cincinnati Bengals, man. Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. A number 6 team. And it's for obvious reasons and for a lot of the reasons that you already mentioned, Willie Jack. It's just when Joe Burrow comes back and when Joe Burrow's on, we saw how good they can be and just how unstoppable this offense can be and how they can figure out ways to win games. Joe Burrow is another one of those guys that has the ice in his veins and he's able to get the job done. Now, the biggest thing for me with this team, now we know I am a little bit concerned about some of the guys that's not going to be there, but even bigger than that, I'm concerned about the injury history. This is 2 seasons now where Joe Burrow has missed the majority of the season because of an injury, and it's like, all right, well, what do we have to do to keep you from getting on the ground? Because to me, I think that's the one area of his game that needs a little bit of work, because I'm a firm believer that the sack is a little bit more of a QB sack than a lot of people want to really recognize, and we've been talking about this Bengals offensive line for so many different ways, but regardless of how many people they've brought over to this offensive line to help out, he always finds his way on the ground. He gets sacked a lot, and it's just certain quarterbacks that regardless, they get sacked a lot. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the lines, and it's because of what they do and their tendencies and all those different things. Like,
you think Burrow holds the ball? Like, you think he holds the ball excessively? You thinking? Is that what
so
you think?
it may not be him holding the ball excessively. I don't. It could be just his ability to understand just the passing lanes. I don't know that. Like, there's a lot of different parts of the game when it comes to playing QB that you really have to be graded to avoid this. Like, it's a reason that regardless of how many, like, look at Tom Brady, look at Pat Mahomes, right? I think two different playing styles. Of course, Tom Brady is more of a pocket passer. Mobility was not there. He never was a quarterback that got sacked a lot throughout his entire career. He knew how to get rid of the ball or keep himself out of danger. He knew how to avoid sacks. Then you look at Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes knows how to avoid sacks in a lot of different ways. And he's good with utilizing his legs. There's certain quarterbacks that are just better at that than other QBs, regardless of the O-line situation. Now, some O-lines are just awful. The offensive line a couple years ago, when he got the year he got sacked 10 times against the Tennessee Titans, that offensive line was awful. But I do think his offensive line started to improve, but it's just certain things in regards to his play that kept him hurt, kept him on the ground. You know what I mean? So I think that's a part of it. The game he's really going to have to address if he wants to have a long-lasting career. A lot of people started to compare him to some of the great quarterbacks and some his skill set to some things, and he was quickly becoming like, oh, is this going to be the guy that could possibly knock off Pat Mahomes, or could this be a rivalry for years? You know what I'm saying? The playoffs, and then he's getting injured. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing for them. And if he's healthy, though, if he can stay healthy and play throughout an entire season, this team can be just as good as, you know, any team in the NFL, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I still got him at the number 6. And this is just, of course, staying that everybody stays healthy. He's going to have his guy Chase there, so they're going to be there, and they're going to figure out a way to, you know, run a ball and put together some pieces on defense. So I got the Bengals at number 6. Even with them, the loss, I think they're going to make some moves and keep this thing together and keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta tell you, man. Yeah. I mean, Well, Cincinnati made my list, but man, that Jets one still just throwing me out. I'm looking at your list, and that Jets one just is sticking out like a sore thumb. But yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. I mean, Detroit was 3 plays away from being in the Super Bowl, man. You got Cincinnati on there coming off an injury with Joe Burrow keep getting beat up, man. I'm just saying, like, put some respect on their name, man. No, let the Lions get a little bit of respect, dog.
No, they top 10, bro. They top 10. but that's why I told you, bro. Like, my I ain't gonna lie, my list is AFC heavy. It's AFC heavy because if the Lions
was definitely more stacked top to bottom for sure of the two conferences.
If the Lions would have had to go through the Bills or the Texans or the Ravens or the Chiefs, we might be talking about the Lions a little different, bro. You know,
that's a fair point. Well, in fairness, they beat the Chiefs. But still, playoff Patty different.
Those were different Chiefs.
Yeah,
these are different Chiefs.
No Chris Jones, and then playoff Patty at the end of the year. Yeah,
that's all, bro. That's just how I was looking at it. But moving on to number 5, though. My number 5. This is why I actually had the Bills, Willie Jack. So I agree with a lot of the things that you mentioned in regards to the Bills, but I do like the idea of them. Well, I don't know if I say I like it yet. I want to see, but and Joe Barry is it Joe Barry? What's his name?
Joe Barry. Yeah,
he was the interim coordinator, offensive coordinator for this team once they lost
Ken Dorsey,
and then now it's like, okay, he has a full off season ahead of him that he can kind of get prepared and get squared away in terms of, you know, putting his imprint on the game. And even though Stephon Diggs was kind of lost towards in the back half of the season, like, I do think they need to move on from him, and I think they need to go with somebody just a little bit more, maybe a T. Higgins could work. Maybe somebody that's a little bit more explosive. I think there's some different guys that could be out there that could be very helpful and more beneficial to Josh Allen's style of play. You know what I'm saying? I also like the young talent they have coming up. You know, so I like them having a young Dalton Kincaid who really showed that he was built and ready to go when it came to playoff time when Dawson knocked out. Dalton Kincaid came up huge for the team. James Cook has shown to be a promising running back that really can help with this team. So I like where they're going with this. You said Matt Milano's coming back, so I think, and they end up losing White, the top cornerback, Tre'Davious White. They lost him early in the season too. So there was a lot of pieces that they were out of, and we just saw Josh Allen kick it into a different gear and really go into, all right, this is on me mode, you know, and that's why I view them above the Lions, because Josh Allen possesses things that Jared Goff doesn't. He possesses things that, all right, we down, we need to win 6 straight games, you know what I'm saying, to possibly even get in the playoffs. We could be out the playoffs, or we could be the number 2 seed. He fought back, and they were the number 2 seed. People probably don't even remember that. You know, are not going to remember that next year.
No, that's true.
People were the actual number 2 seed in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a big part of that was Josh Allen and how well he performed down the stretch. So I think this Bills team is going to continue to be good. Don't get me wrong. It's very frustrating, and they continue to do this, and they get at some point, it's like, all right, man, another one. I just stuffed here. But at some point, you know, they're going to really start to put it together, and they're gonna be here. They're not going nowhere. I just put it like that. And unless an injury or something like that happen, the Bills are gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so
I hope you're right.
Them on 5. They ain't going nowhere, bro.
I hope you're right. Yeah, like I said, I hope you're right.
I ain't going nowhere. So yeah, that's my number 5, man. Willie Jack. Who you got at your number 5, man? I think this is where you probably got the lines. I kind of feeling it. I'm feeling it.
No.
Okay.
See, this is where I've got Houston. This is where I got the Texans. And so this is a team, I feel similar about this Texans team as I do about the Packers team. Like, this is a team obviously on the rise, a young team on the rise. And so, and I think they're very similar to the Packers in that, well, now they've got let's say like a higher pedigree quarterback in CJ Stroud, just as far as like when he came in as a starter. Jordan Love came from Utah State. You know what I mean? He's like a mid-major D. I mean, he was D1, but he not a large-scale D1. Like, CJ Stroud's been primetime since he was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, and then he goes to Ohio State. He's perennially in the top 5 in the country in Ohio State. They're in the playoffs. They're competing for championships, or they're in that mix. And so he comes from a greater pedigree than, let's say, Jordan Love, even though Jordan Love did go on he was the second round. He was either the bottom of the first or the second round. It was the bottom of the first because he had a 5th-year option. So he goes in the bottom first. But outside of that, I look at this receiving core. So the Packers have a lot of guys that they're not like highly heralded guys. Like, they didn't get the draft for Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? They had to kind of build these guys, you know what I mean, in the second, the third round. Who knows where Romeo Dobbs played ball at? You know what I'm saying? Like the Jaden Reed, you know what I'm saying? The slot corner, they want me well, he came from Michigan State. But you know, but the point is, like, yeah, but you know, the point is, like, these aren't just guys that we just knew. Who would have knew that Nico Collins was gonna be a damn animal? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know the boy went to Michigan until like week 7. You know what I'm saying? CJ Stroud played against him at Michigan. Who knew? You know what I'm saying? Who knew that Tank Dell at 5'8", 160 pounds was gonna, you know what I'm saying, was gonna turn into what he was before he got injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, dynamic. Well, we saw what he was able to do in college, but at that size and coming in with the 4th round, I think, when they got him out of Houston. And so, like, seeing him be as dynamic and as productive in this offense. Noah Brown was on the back of the Cowboys roster for so long, and then he comes over here. He had some games, especially when Nico Collins went down. It was 2, 3, 4 games when Noah Brown got off. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dalton Schultz had a good year. Also, like I said, a cast off from the Cowboys roster. He had a solid, productive year. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I see all these young pieces there, and kind of same thing I said with Green Bay. They've got the most important piece of the puzzle settled. You've got a quarterback. You've got a real guy that could be a difference maker, as we've seen. You know what I mean? Like, the MVP voting came out. He had MVP votes. Him and Matt Stafford had the same amount of MVP votes. They both got 2. Like in the list, yeah. And so, and this is his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? And he missed time. You know, so So when you have that, and I see those young weapons, their offensive line is pretty set. They're pretty solid there. The concern for me with them is on defense. They've got they draft, of course, a young Will Anderson. He ends up winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. He closed out the season very strong, or very solid. Man, who's my dog, man? I can't think of his name now. Corner Stingley. Stingley like showed up to in the second half of this year. He showed up to be the player that we had saw his freshman year at LSU, where he was All-American and looked like he should have been draft eligible as a freshman. Like, he showed back up in the second half of the regular season and looked damn good. He started to look as advertised. So they've got young pieces there. The safety I like a lot. From Baylor. What's his name?
You talking about Petrie?
Petrie, exactly. Jalen Petrie. So there's pieces there now.
He got injured. He was in.
Exactly, and he got injured. And so, exactly right. And so you got him, expecting him to come back now healthy. A guy that was already proved to be a difference maker, so young. And so now they've got Jonathan Gennard, the other defensive end across from Will Anderson, who had a very solid kind of breakout year for himself. He's going to be a free agent. It's likely that they're going to lose him to free agency. He's going to go make a little money for himself. And then also, they've still got to do something just in the middle of that defense as well. That defensive line outside of Will Anderson just needs to be completely revamped. So they're weak at the tackle position, and then you're going to lose Jonathan Gennard, who was your best pass rusher. Like I said, Will Anderson had a solid close to this year, but you're going to lose Gennard, and so you've got to find some answers on that defense. I think they need another corner as well to pair with Stingley, and then also they got some good play. Down the stretch from a young guy, linebacker Christian Harris. But honestly, I still think you can strengthen that linebacker room as well. You know what I mean? Somebody that can really just kind of. I want more oomph in the middle of that defense. I want to get a thumper to pair with Christian Harris, let him run around and be your, you know what I'm saying, sideline to sideline guy, and then strengthen up the interior of that defensive line for sure. Tackle position, you got to replace the opposite edge of Will Anderson. So there's some work to do there. But if this is what we've seen, this is what we got to start with. We can make something happen, Chop. You know what I'm saying? We can make something happen, man. If this is where we starting, we can make something happen. And like I said, it was for me personally, it was tough to get them too much further than this. But I think they're a team that's right there on the precipice, and a team that it wouldn't surprise me at all if if CJ goes to see Patty in next year's AFC Championship game. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of potential that maybe they have. Like I said, if they can build on what they've shown us in this first year.
Absolutely, Willie Jack. I ain't mad at you right there either, dog. I ain't mad at you, man. So who your number 4 then?
Number 4 for me, man, is another one where 3 and 4. I kind of went back and forth. A little bit. And you know what, man? Just because you was talking as spicy as you was, I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens at number 4. And the reason for me is, and this is what's crazy, is like Baltimore had a stretch where they were pretty dominant. Baltimore's number 4 for me. I think it says 5 on my screen, or my screen could be.
I just switched it. It changed.
Okay. No, you good. Okay. So I got Baltimore 4. And here's the thing I'm thinking as well. Now, they've got tons of free agents on their defense for sure. And so now, let me start over. I'm going to start on the offense. So offensively, Zay Flowers showed that he can be a dynamic weapon. He can be explosive. He can get those chunk shot plays when, you know what I'm saying, we make the defense honor and overcommit to the run. We can find Zay Flowers deep crossers and kind of put the ball in his hands that way. Odell Beckham, I don't want to say he was just a flat out dud, but he's just not a difference maker that he was. He hasn't been that guy for about 7 years, and that's just what it is. Outside of a Super Bowl run with the Rams, outside of that, and then he tears another knee, and then, you know what I'm saying, like, that lightning in the bottle is gone, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So not to say that he can't still, he has a place in this league. I don't want to tear him all the way down, but if your room,
go ahead and say everybody's just not Sean McVay. I get it, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, what Sean McVay got to do with this?
Because Sean McVay brought it out of him. That's all.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
He did something. I don't know what it was, but that guy, he's not that guy no more. And so, like, they still need the same problem that the same things we've complained about or asked for for like ever since Lamar has taken over as the quarterback, they still need help in this receiver room. And they've been throwing bodies at it, but they haven't got one that really sticks and kind of fills that spot like we need. Zay Flowers is a nice young dynamic weapon. He's still a 2. Like he can't be the primary option in this offense like he was, or the primary threat in the receiving game like he was this last season. Now, also, of course, you're losing Mark Andrews, but outside of Andrews, we've got to find a legitimate number 1 option at the receiver position if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan. And so that's still an issue for me. Then also losing your defensive coordinator. So I don't want to forget this as well. Your defensive coordinator, the number 1 defense in the league, well, he's the head coach in Seattle now. And you've got tons of free agents on the defensive side of the ball. And so I had it pulled up as well because they've got a lot. And so I know for sure both your edges are free agents. So Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney. Now, both those guys, neither of those guys were necessarily lights out, but both of those guys were definitely, what's the right word? They weren't overly productive, but like they were both above the line. Like you got quality play from both those guys. You know what I'm saying? And they're both on the wrong side of 30 for one, and they're both free agents. You've got Justin Matabuke, the interior guy. So he's a young guy. He had a breakout year. He has 13, 14 sacks or so in a contract year. Well, now he's a free agent. He's going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Baltimore with their cap situation, because they just had to pay Lamar. We know the standoff and everything that happened there. So I'm not sure with their cap situation if they have the money to retain a Justin Matabuke, because you know what? A team like Houston might want to holler at him. You know what I mean? A team like Kansas City who might lose a Chris Jones, they might want to. If we can't keep Chris Jones, we should. There's another guy over in Baltimore that was wrecking shop. So he's going to have suitors. The Chicago Bears, they need some help on that defensive line to pair with Montez Sweat. So there's going to be people throwing money at this Matabuke kid. You know what I mean? After the year that we just seen him have as well. And then also in your cornerback room, Marlon Humphrey is still a name we know. He hasn't necessarily been the dominant guy that he flashed maybe 3-4 years ago.
He's been solid. He's been a good corner, but not outstanding.
Exactly.
That's all. He's been
exactly right. No, and see, that's my point. And so I think you need, and then plus you need to add something to that cornerback room. You know what I'm saying? Because he's still a viable starter, but he's not a tier 1 corner in my book. You know what I mean? So like you still need to improve there. And like I said, I still want to know what you're going to do on that defense. Like they haven't hired a coordinator yet. Or did we miss that? But did they promote from within? Maybe I can't remember. But I don't know if they promoted from within or I don't think they went and made an external hire. So maybe they promoted somebody up the ranks, but I want to see what this defense looks like. And especially, like I said, they're gonna have to go back to the shopping cart as well to replace some of these guys they're losing. Also, like I said, we talked about Odell, what he was for them, and what he's not as a player anymore. Well, he's a free agent anyway. You still got to find so both your starting guards are free agents as well, and Kevin Zeitler, who had a great year. He was a very solid year. Maybe I shouldn't go as far as say great, but a very, very good year out of him. Well, he's a free agent as well. John Simpson, your starting left guard, he's also a free agent. So there's some holes on this team as well. That, like I said, I know they did well. Lamar, he could be magical. He can win games. It feels like at times he's shown that he can just be bigger and better than the game and just kind of get it done. But there's also been times, namely, like I said, in that Chiefs game, where like there's a cap on this team. There's a cap on this team and on this offense that I just don't see. I don't see until they make some changes, bringing in some key pieces and seeing how that works out. That there's still a cap there that I just can't quite overlook, and so I've got them. I'm going to put them at 4.
Okay, I got you. Hey, I ain't mad at that one either, Willie Jack. I got some stuff I want to say about this team, but they coming up pretty soon on my list, man. But mine is not the same order because they're in different numbers. But the next team on my list at number 4 are the Texans, man. I got the Texans. I think one spot up from you. Yeah. I think you got them at 5. So I got Texans at 4. And like you said, a lot of what I saw from the Packers, I see in the Texans. And I just think that the Texans are a little bit, they built, their pieces are just a little bit better. Their pieces can really get them over the top and really put them in contention for quite some time to really compete. We've already saw, like you mentioned, Nico Collins. And Nico Collins showed a different level. He showed tier 1 level to me once they got into the playoffs, because if Tank Dell was gone, everybody else was gone. He was the sole weapon on offense for this particular team, especially in the passing game. Everybody knew who was getting the ball, and he still went out there and performed. That to me shows true number one ability. So I really like what the Texans were able to do and show up to this point. So I that's
no doubt. I said no doubt. I was just
absolutely, Willie Jack, and that's kind of where I feel the way I feel about this Houston Texans team. I think it's only up from here. What they've accomplished thus far is only just a start. I think they have the capability of being a legit team for quite some time. So I got them in my number 4 spot. Okay.
No, I like it.
Which leads me to my number 3 team, and actually, Willie Jack, I was about to spark it up a little bit, man. I was getting ready to do it, but I didn't do it. I almost put the Texans at the number 3 spot, but instead, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Ravens, man. The Ravens are my number 3 team for a lot of reasons that you mentioned. But here's my thing, Willie Jack. I look at the way these teams built, the way they win, and just look at their strengths and weaknesses. I'm not really concerned about the passing weapons for this Ravens team. Okay, that's not the thing I think that makes this team go, and we saw it time and time again, and we continue to see it year after year, especially in the playoffs. So I don't want to just continue to ignore that. It's the run game, and it's the ability to play smart football offensively, ball control, and let the offense come to you, not try to make the offense, and it's defense. Whenever the defense has been top 5, those are when we saw the best seasons from Lamar Jackson. And a prime example of that was the game against Houston, where the Houston defense was slowing down the Ravens offense. The Ravens weren't able to do
in that first half. Yeah,
they weren't able to do too much. But the Ravens defense just wore down the Texans offense and continued to give the Ravens more opportunities. And what they did on offense was run the ball until things start opening up. And once things start opening up for them, that's when Lamar Jackson was able to have a little bit more success. Unlike in the AFC Championship game, where you go out and you only run the ball 6 times, you're not built to do that. You will never be built to do that as long as Lamar Jackson is your quarterback. He's not that type of guy that can go out there and do that. In a regular season, there's a couple games you can probably get away with that, but in the playoffs, you won't be able to get away with that and think you're going to come out and win this game. You won't happen. It just you won't be able to do that when playoff time comes, which is why you're not going to have as much playoff success. So I guess I'm saying all that to say, I'm not necessarily worried about their passing weapons, the receivers on offense. I'm worried about making sure they continue to have a good offensive line, a good run game, and the defense stays good. If their defense stays good and they play the formula of football they played probably from like the last 5 games of the regular season up until like the game against Houston, like they play that brand of football, that's going to give them the best chance of winning. And with that being said, how dangerous Lamar Jackson still is, that's what's going to put them in position to win the game. I said it before. The Chiefs were below ranked 25th in terms of run defense, and you run the ball 6 times to get them.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Hey, that stat or that ranking seems a little off, man. Because man, looking at them in the Super Bowl, just that whole playoff run, like man, that defense was dominant. Like I know C-Mac. I think C-Mac ended up having 80 yards in that game, but it was on 22 carries. They went like they were stout, man. And then seeing what they did, completely taking Baltimore out of their element, like man, that something wrong with that ranking because that defense.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I think Spagnuolo just did what he did all season long, and he just tailored his defense towards the team that he's going against. You know what I'm saying? And then also, it's a different defense, different defense, just like it's a different offense when we saw them in the playoffs. We saw this Chiefs offense in a regular season give up games, drop passes, and all that type of stuff. Now, granted, they weren't explosive in this past Super Bowl. We'll get to that, but they did enough.
Hold on, partner.
They didn't make the mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, partner. You froze on my screen. Uh-oh.
Dang, my face look crazy too.
You see it? Maybe blink it off. Okay, there you go.
My face look crazy.
I didn't even want you to go out like that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So what I guess what I'm saying is you still, even then, just speaking about the Ravens, as the Ravens, man, you still got to go out with what you go out the way you go out,
right,
man.
Yeah, right. Leave on the horse you came with. Yeah, exactly.
Play your brand of football. So that's it, man. And that's why I got the Ravens in my number 3 spot. And I got your message too, Willie Jack. So yeah, we can
already.
We can get
no,
through.
We will. Yeah, I just looked like, oh damn. But no, and like I said, I'm like you. Like I went back and forth between Baltimore and Houston. Like I said, in my 4 and 5, and I ended up giving the edge to Baltimore. One of the things I took into account was they really just outclassed them and dominated them in that playoff game. Like it looked a little close, and then like it really felt like big brother, little brother in the second half of that game. It was almost more so like Houston came out there and threw their best shot, and all it did was wake big brother up. And then he came, you know what I'm saying, and put you in the head like you couldn't get out. And he just did this all day. You know what I mean? So that's what it looked like that second half.
Yeah, them boys nuggies.
Yeah, for real. And so that's why I was like, you know what? You know, I give them their respect for the head to head. Now, number 3. This is where, and I went back and forth on 3 and 4 as well. So like 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5. But 3, this is where I got Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions. Let me tell y'all why y'all got to put some respect on these Lions, man. Because I know like their blemishes are vibrant. You know what I'm saying? Like they fail spectacularly. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a thing where like it's sometimes like there's one way to like we can see teams falter or lose or whatnot, and then it's just another thing where you completely see some like it's one thing to stumble in the cafeteria. It's another thing to fall, knock over the trays, spill chocolate milk on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your crush was standing right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, dog, that's a great analogy, dog.
Yeah, cause that's how Detroit fails. You know what I'm saying? When they fail big. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the thing that kind of I think the fact that they can when they falter is so drastic that I think it started to take away from all the good that this team like really did and what they really accomplished. This is another team as well. They're 3 plays themselves from being in the same Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And it's another team on the road against San Francisco. San Francisco, we just seen them give the Chiefs a hell of a run for their money. We're going to talk about that game here shortly. Y'all stay tuned. But that Niners team is competitive as that game was, and we'll break it down. Man, Detroit had they boots smoked. Detroit had them boys smoked going into the halftime. You know what I'm saying? The game, it's 17 points on the road. Running the ball down their throats. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can stick Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. Sam Laporta 2 weeks off of almost tearing his knee because Dan Campbell got a little aggressive. You know what I'm saying? You can't do nothing. So that like I see that team, and this is the thing that Detroit has going for them, Chop, that a lot of these other teams don't. Detroit's running everybody back. You know what I'm saying? They didn't lose a coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like Baltimore I don't know what Baltimore's gonna do on defense. And they got 5 or 6 free agents that are starters on that defense. They got 5 or 6 free agent starters, and you lost your defensive coordinator. I don't know what that defense is gonna look like. And just like my dog Chop just said, that team runs through the defense. They got Lamar's got to be special, and then the defense got to be top tier. And the defense, you know what I'm saying? Right now, I've got questions. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're able to keep Aaron Glenn as your defense coordinator, he had an interview. You know what I'm saying with Washington. You're able to keep the prettiest girl at the dance. You know what I'm saying? Like your offensive coordinator, help me out. What's OC's name, bro?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson been the prettiest girl in the school for 2 years in a row, Chop. Ain't nobody got to dance. You know what I'm saying? Like she just show up fine in a mug to every dance and don't dance with nobody. You know what I'm saying? She just dances her girls all night. Everybody think they're gonna get it something? No. You know what I'm saying? Ben Johnson running it back. And now here's the thing as well. Because, and you know, when I talked about the Packers, I talked about how young players are able to, like, they fell short, but now you get to see those faults. You got to see where you came up short. Now you learn and you grow. Well, let's not forget, Dan Campbell's a young coach. This is his 3rd year as a head coach. So he also gets to learn and grow. And so, like, Dan Campbell, like, of course, he's going to want to stay true to his personality, but at the same time, I'm assuming he's got the wherewithal to know, okay, yeah, we're going to drop our nuts. We're going to be who we are. We're never going to play not to lose. We're always going to play to win. But when I'm up 17 on the road to go to the Super Bowl, I'm kicking that one, man. All right? He going to talk to everybody in the locker room like, look, man, don't think your boy going soft, but look here, man. We going to kick a couple more this year. All right? We still aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He has a chance to learn and grow as a coach just as much as a young player has a chance to learn and grow, as a player. And so they stay whole. I look at their roster, and Chop, everybody's coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've got 3 free agent starters. One of them is Kendall Vildor, who throwing forehead passes to Brandon Ayuk for 40-yard gains. You know what I'm saying? You let him out of there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody's going to shed a tear if they let him out the building. You know what I'm saying? The forehead pass boy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody losing no sleep if we let him go. Now, the other 2 free agent starters that are free agents are their 2 offensive guards. Now, their tackles, they've got an all-pro, probably the best right tackle in the game now, probably Penei Sewell. I think in my mind, he's taking that title from Lane Johnson. He's younger, he's bigger, he's faster. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving it to Penei Sewell. Frank Ragnow, arguably the best center in this game. Like I said, he was in that conversation with Kelsey and Creed Humphrey. Those 3 guys. Well, now Kelsey's gone, and I think Frank Ragnow, for my money, was the second best center in the game this year. You know what I mean? So you've got him, and then you've still got Tyler Decker on the left side, who's the elder statesman. He's still playing damn good ball, Chop. So you're still solid at, you know what I mean, at the pivot and at the both ends. And so now you got the 2 guards that are free agents, and so you're going into a draft. There's good I'm looking at this stuff a little early. In my early kind of takes, there's going to be some decent eligibles, you know what I'm saying, coming up. So maybe you bring in a guy, and then these 2 guards, you know what I mean, like one or both of them may want to come back, because these aren't guys that I think are going to get, poached away because they're gonna be enticed with making big money contracts. Like I don't think it's those type of guys. So they got a chance to either keep one or both of those guys. And I think this is a good draft in which there's going to be an opportunity to maybe go get a young guy. And like I say, I'll take a mid-tier guy and a young guy between all pros. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll take that, man. And so I see a team on the precipice that the biggest thing that Detroit lost 4 games this year. They lost 5 games this year. They beat themselves 3 times. And one of those was a game to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, the other 2 games that they actually lost, and then we just talked about it, but they beat the Super Bowl champs in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they played better they played better down the road, and yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if Michael Jordan wouldn't have retired, maybe Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets don't have a championship. But you know what happened? Mike retired and the Rockets won the championship. So I ain't gonna take that Chiefs win away from them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna take it away from them. They beat them on the road in their house on the night they dropped the banner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the night they beat the Chiefs. And so it is what it is. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I think, like I said, the way they fail does just kind of like it sticks in our mind. But I don't want to be a prisoner of that and just overlook just all the good that they have. Love the young playmakers, man. The Jahmyr Gibbs, hit the combination with David Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? They still got to figure out J-Mo. Amon-Ra St. Brown, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you've got to revitalize Jared Goff. Jared Goff does have those limitations that you say. When things go wrong and he's got to go off script and he's got to make a play, he's capped there. But for the most part, 90% of the time, he can slice and dice and he can deal with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot to like there, man. They've got to add something to that secondary room for sure. The secondary is definitely a weak spot. You've got to get a running mate for Aiden Hutchinson on that defensive line. But there's a lot of good there, and they stay pretty good together. Like, they don't have a ton of free agents, and they keep all the coaches and everybody came back. And so I think they're in better position to kind of continue and build on this success than I think you gave them credit for.
Okay. I guess we just gonna have to see.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see. Anyway, after you finish trying to plead your case, man, give me your number 2, man.
Hey, is it still on me? Oh, damn, it is still on me, man. Hey, yeah. My fault. I tell you what, number 2 gonna be short and sweet. I thought that was my club. Number 2, I got San Francisco. The runner-ups. You know what I mean? And so I got San Francisco. I'm telling you, man, I like what I feel is progress that I'm seeing from Brock Purdy, man. I know he still gets the bad rap. I almost think we left that jacket on him a little too long. I think he's more than just the guy who's got to, who's got to be spoon fed. I think he's shown me more than that, and especially in some of these crunch and critical situations where they don't make it to the Super Bowl without Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had to come back in the second half of that Packers game and deal. You know what I'm saying? Every throw mattered in the second half of that Packers game. You know what I mean? And he made every play. He made every throw. You know what I'm saying? He made every timely run. That Lions game was the same way. Yeah, they got some help, but momentum is a fickle friend. You know what I'm saying? Once momentum turned they back on Detroit, because Dan Campbell kept playing in their face, with the momentum went right across the street to San Francisco, and Brock Purdy did the same thing, man. He made them throws. He made several critical plays with his legs to extend first downs. He had a 15-yard run that got them to the 5 before Chris McCaffrey punched it in to take the lead in that game. You know what I'm saying? So I think he went 6 for 7 on that final drive for like 60 yards. You know, so in that Super Bowl as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was protected, he found a way to move the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, like I said, I say that to say he's making great strides. I still like the core of those players. You still got Trent Williams at the left tackle playing some of the best ball at the position that we've ever seen. You still got Kyle Juszczyk. You still got C-Mac, the best in the business. You still got Brandon Ayuk. And you know what? No, I think, is Brandon Ayuk up for a contract? He ain't going nowhere. I'll tell you that. I can't remember if he's up for a deal or if they just signed him, but he ain't going nowhere. They ain't letting him at the building. And you know what I'm saying? So he's a guy that's still, I think, a little underrated. If y'all ask me, I really like he gets separation. He's really improved as a route runner. I like Ayuk's game. And then, like I said, now Debo was beat up this year, and so you've got to find a way to kind of get him back to the player that we know that he can be. But then that defense has got stars all the way around. Man, prayers up. Hopefully, Dre Greenlaw, man, able to bounce back. Man, that's a terrible way to go out, man. Yeah, running onto the field to go take the field and pop an Achilles, dog. Man, that's brutal. That's brutal, man. And so prayers for him. But they got stars everywhere. Tyler Noah, who's your mama? He ain't even play. You know what I'm saying? He missed the second half of the season. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be back now healthy. He's already an all-pro. He's been in the league for 2 years. He's an all-pro. Now you get him back as well. And so this is a team as well that I still think, I think their window is still wide open. You know what I mean? I still think that they're a team that, as painful as it is, you got to crawl back to the starting line and you got to do it again. We've seen teams do it. We've seen Philadelphia with Andy Reid go to 4 NFC championship games. You know what I'm saying? In a row. We've seen the Buffalo Bills go to 4 Super Bowls in a row. So it can be done. This San Francisco team is still young enough. They still got that core. And I still think that when they're healthy and playing their best ball, they are still probably one of the scariest, if not the scariest team in this league outside of a pissed off Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Outside of just a pissed off Patty, there's nobody more dangerous or more complete than San Francisco on both sides of the ball.
Got you. And I second a lot of the things that you said, Willie Jack, in regards to the 49ers. And that's part of the reason why I got him as my number 2 team, too. You know what I'm saying? Because they, like I said before, and I say time and time again, man, it's just a well-oiled machine. And Shanahan got these guys rolling. He's got all of his pieces in place. And the way he can put together an offense, man, will put them in a great position. And again, and I won't keep going down this Brock Purdy train. I've already kind of explained to everybody how I kind of feel about him. But I do think this is an opportunity for him to grow. Like I do think this full year as the starter all year long gives, and the experience that he's had gives him the opportunity to grow. Okay. We also saw a lot of his skill set, you know, his strengths, his weaknesses, you know what I'm saying? So teams are going to really be ramping up their game planning against this team now. You know, so a lot of that is going to come into play. But all in all, I still think Shanahan is one of the best in the business, and he's going to continue to have this team prepared along with, you know, the weapons that they have all around them. So this team is on paper is in position to be contenders for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long it's going to be, but as long as they got players like the Debos and I don't know how much longer Trent has, but
right,
they have like the Debos, the Ayuks, the McCaffreys, the Kittles, and then even on defense, the Fred Warners and those guys, you know, the Bosas, you know, kind of putting things in order or being the leaders of this team. Everything else is going to fall into place. So I think this team is going to again next year be a team to reckon with. It's going to be a tough team to try to beat for anybody next year, man. So I'm with you there, Willie Jack. Definitely with you there.
No doubt.
Sounds like we both got the same number 1 team, or what we should by this time, man. But going into my number 1, man, I got the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling in with the Chiefs. Gotta have them. It's crazy, man. At the beginning of the season, I was one of the guys that didn't pick. Not only did I not pick them to win the division, you know what I'm saying? I actually had them missing the playoffs, man. And what do they do? They come out.
I had them having a down year, taking a step back, but I ain't having missed the playoffs.
Yeah. And you ain't go as far as me.
I ain't jump all the way out the window. You know what I'm
saying? and what I learned again this year, and I learned it time and time again. So it's not just this year I've learned it, but you just cannot count out Pat Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? And there's some players, it don't really matter. It don't matter if I don't have a number one receiver. It doesn't matter if, you know, my offense is struggling. It doesn't matter, you know, a lot of these different things. When it come time to get the job done, I'm going to get the job done. You know, some players, when the lights are bright, they get it done 70% of the time. Some players, when the lights is bright, they get it done 0% of the time, aka Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm sorry, he catching straight.
Did you say Justin Herbert? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I mean, we can keep naming them. It's a few of them out there. It's a few of them out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain players that are out there, man. When the lights are they bright, they show up. And Pat Mahomes, if there's a percentage by his name, I probably put like 90-95% of the time. Yeah. The boy gets out there and he gets it done, man. And so you can't look at that on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like on paper, this team might be ranked 7th, 8th. You know what I'm saying? Like in regards to, like, if you look at some of the other teams, just on paper now, but knowing what football is, knowing what these guys do, and understanding that, again, stats don't tell a story, letting the film speak. Hey, man, these guys get it done. They get it done. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give credit there. The defense is looking like something I haven't seen. And if we come back next year and that offense starts to put things together like we have seen them in the past, along with the way that this defense is playing, and they find some way to keep Chris Jones, shit. Hey, boy, the rest of the league, hey, I don't know how much of a chance, you know, if everybody's healthy, that we gonna give that many people if their defense continues to play like that, and their offense starts to pick things up. If Pat Mahomes comes out and have another 45, 50 touchdown season, that type of explosive offense.
And what's crazy, and I'll jump in, like I said, we got the same number one, but no, this just like my dog said, the scariest thing is, Pat didn't have nothing to work with. Let Pat find another receiver, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got rookie Rashee Rice, who didn't turn into the number one. They was 10 games into the season before finally somebody was like, all right, you know what, man? Stop trying to force the ball to MVS. Stop trying to force the ball to Hardeman. Somebody stop trying to get the ball to Darius Toney. Throw the ball to the rookie. You know what I mean? Like, it was the back half of the season before they started doing that. And so you got rookie Rashee Rice, a 3rd round kid out of SMU, if I remember right. He turns to your number one receiver. He has 600 yards, 700 yards on the year. Travis Kelce has relatively speaking, has a down year. He still had not over 900 yards. He would have had 1,000 yards if he didn't choose to sit out that Raiders game, but it felt like a relatively down year. And so just like my dog Chop said, man, it was ugly. People were starting to question them letting Eric Bieniemy go. Eric Bieniemy was never more popular other than like weeks 1 through 14 when the Chiefs couldn't do anything right on offense. You know what I mean? And so, but just like my dog Chop said, man, don't none of that matter when Project P. When playoff P, it has a chance to win. When them lights get bright, you know what I'm saying? We either see them clouds of the stone or you sparkle.
And I will throw this in there real quick, Willie Jack. Mm-hmm. I do got to give credit to Pat Mahomes, but we got to give credit to that defense too. That defense
carried away for sure.
They was lights out, man. They carried that team a lot this season, and they showed up big in the Super Bowl too. We'll get to that in a second anyway.
No, for sure. No, you got to give them the credit, and that's the thing that makes them the most scary because previously when they've been dominant and been champions and championship contenders, it's been on the strong right arm of number 15. My dog tried 50 touchdowns his first year as a starter, 5,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like 40 touchdown seasons, 4,500 yards. You know what I'm saying? So like that's been the way they've been getting it done. And now we've seen that, man, they could go out there and struggle to score 20 points a week. And you know what happened that season, Chop? They won the Super Bowl. So what can you do? What do you do?
That ain't fair, bro. That ain't fair, bro.
It ain't fair at all. And so, but just like my dog Chop said, man, they've got some critical pieces coming up for free agency. Chris Jones, I don't know how they're going to make it work, man, because he's going to need 30 of them things, man, and he worth every penny. he gonna need 30 of them things, and I don't know if they got them. Yeah. I don't know if they got them, Kansas City. And then also, L'Jarius Sneed had a career year. You know what I'm saying? In a contract year. I'm gonna say it again. Snubbed. Yep. Not an all-pro, not a Pro Bowler. Atrocious. You know what I'm saying? Snubbed. But he's a free agent. You can't keep them both. You know what I'm saying? So if you find a way to keep Chris Jones, then Sneed out of there. Come on down. Hey, I know I got a place for you, big dog. Hey, I got a place for you. You feel me? But and then so if you can't creep, if you aren't able to keep Chris Jones, he goes and takes Houston's money. Somebody gonna give him $30 million. You know what I'm saying? So Houston, Chicago. I mean, there's man. Look, it's 30 teams in this league that if they got the money, they signing Chris Jones. That he's that type of player. And so if they can't keep Chris Sneed or Chris Jones, then maybe they do keep Sneed. But Chris Jones is the gas in that defensive engine. Like that defense is elite. They deserve that title. They deserve that praise. But Chris Jones is the gas that starts that car. You know what I'm saying? Chris Jones does what he does up front, and then we see Trent McDuffie have an all-pro caliber year. We see L'Jarius Sneed about to go get himself cashed out. Should have been an all-pro if you ask me. You know what I mean? We see all these other guys start to make plays, but Chris Jones is really the heartbeat of that. And so it is going to be interesting to see what shakes out there, man. But no, just like you said, man, got to give it to the champs, man. That's King Pat, man. And yeah, got to get him the number one spot.
Absolutely, Willie Jack. Got to give him the number one spot. But hey, man, we done went through the power rankings for y'all, man. And of course, there's one thing left for us to do. And of course, let's jump into this Super Bowl, man. But before we do that, we're going to do a quick little break, get ourselves together, maybe take a little sip of water, and then we're going to come right back with this Super Bowl recap, man. So y'all stay right there. Me and your dog is on the way.
Today's episode of Let the Film Speak, hosted by the wonderfully handsome and intelligent brothers of Let the Film Speak. That's Chop and your main man, Willie Jack. You feel me? Also brought to you by the Three Amigos. Y'all know them and you love them, man. That's the Three Amigos. That's like, that's share, that's subscribe. That's three the hard way. That's a 3-piece spicy. You cannot go wrong. Now, I say the same thing every week, so y'all can say that at home with me. I know y'all ready for it. Here we go. It's Three Amigos, but it's 4 parts to this process, big dog. First, you just got to tap in. Like my dog said, man, come in, tap in. Just say what's up, man. Just holler. Hey, what's up, Three Amigos, man? Like, share, subscribe. Hey, Chop, man, Willie, man, what's going on, man? It's cool. I sit on the couch for sure. Y'all got some cold to drink? Oh, man, my man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, man, I'm a Broncos fan. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's easy. Ain't it, Chop? Come in, sit down, get comfortable, get a cool adult beverage, and let us know who you ride with, big dog. Then tell a friend. Like, man, that's a nice feeling here, ain't it? Man, it's cool, man. My homeboy was out. He was down. Man, it's cool. I can tell a friend. Tell a friend, man. And you know what? Even better than that, you can tell your friend to tell a friend. Guess what? There's more. You can tell your friend to bring his partner too. Bring one more because we need 4, man. Bring them up into the penthouse. Tap in with your dogs, man. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. You know we don't wear no watches. We ain't got nowhere else to be but in here kicking football flavor with the fam. And now back to the regularly scheduled program. All
right, big dog, Willie Jack. Hey, well, now this is what we came here for, man. We came here for this, man. We got a chance to watch the game, had a good time on Sunday evening, and now it's time for us to recap it, man. So, of course, we know everybody got a chance to see it, man. But in case you didn't, the Chiefs end up winning the Super Bowl. They are your 2023-2024 NFL champs, man. They win this game 25-22. And a great game, Willie Jack. A great game, if you ask me. Willie Jack, what's your take on this one, man? What happened, man?
No, definitely for both teams to tell the two halves. This was I really enjoyed the game as well, man. It was tough, physical, defensive ball game. That's right up my alley. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here for all of that. You know what I mean? And so both offenses really struggled to kind of find their footing in the first half. Like I said, both defenses really kind of led the way on both sides. And then we the Niners do, and see the Niners, man, they come out first drive of the game, they march right down the field, and then honestly, best in the business. You get C-Mac. C-Mac coughs up the ball, man. So you're going in position to score. Who knows if it's going to be a touchdown or not? Because points were at a premium in this game, as we saw from both teams. So getting to the red zone didn't mean touchdowns.
They were in field goal range. I think it was just
they were definitely in field goal range. They were like on their own like 25 or so. So right there in front of the red zone. But so in definite field goal range at the very least. But of course you get an early turnover there, and then the Chiefs, to their credit, they've done this. It feels like all year. Like man, if you stumble, they will punish your ass. Like they do, man. They go down the field. Now they only get 3. They get a field goal there, but it was a tough, gritty defensive game. Like I said, in the first half, San Francisco ends up getting on the board, and I think they take a first half lead into the no wait, was it 10-3 at halftime, or was it?
It went. It was 10-3 at halftime, but okay, the Chiefs didn't get a field goal on that drive. The Chiefs didn't get their field goal till later because the Niners went up 10-0 at first. They went up 10-0, and then the Chiefs got a field goal right before the half.
Right before that. Okay, there you go. No, exactly. Appreciate you, my dog. And so so you go back and forth. Yeah, it doesn't that turnover doesn't bite you right there. Doesn't necessarily bite you in the butt right there because your defense shows up ready to play. And I'm glad that's what my concern was going into this game, Chop. I was concerned because it feels like we hadn't seen that dominant Niners defense in quite a while. You know what I mean? Like the team that showed up in the Super Bowl, man, we've been looking for them for about 6 games. Man. Like where y'all been? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm happy to see that they showed up. And so this was a very even matchup all the way through, honestly. And so, of course, we get into the second half. Kind of both these offenses more so start to kind of wake up. And the thing for me, and this is it's interesting to say because Kansas City went out and won this game. And so I'm not going to take anything away from it because they like this. There was no gimmies in this game. But the Niners just really, really shot themselves in the foot just over and over in this game. But I can say that without feeling like I don't feel like they lost this game. Sometimes I feel like they lost the game instead of the other team really winning the game. And I don't feel that way, even with all the mistakes they had, and they had some critical ones. The early fumble by C-Mac. Now, that's first quarter, first drive of the game, and there's so much ball game left that one, to me, honestly, it doesn't weigh quite as heavy as some of these other ones. But the one that's just really the dagger, the muffed punt off the ankle of the blocker. And that's the one that really was the killer. And that's the one that really kind of, for me, really sparked Kansas City. That's the one that really sparked and got Kansas City going. I think that was Kansas City's first touchdown. And so they come out in the second half. Kansas City, uncharacteristically, and so Patty Mahomes throws a terrible interception to start the second half. You know what I mean? So it's like this is going to give the Niners at this point, it's like, oh, shit, hey, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this, the Niners got a chance to kind of press the advantage at this point. And I believe, was that the same drive they ended up having to punt or stall or I don't know if they got a field goal, whatever it was. No. Because they came out, the Niners came out, and shout out to kudos and shout out to Steve Spagnuolo and Kansas City Chiefs defense because the Niners got three straight 3-and-outs on those possessions. And so they're going back and forth there. The Chiefs, they force a punt for the Chiefs. It's a good punt. I think it's gonna down or land somewhere inside the 10. It's a little muddy. Ray McDonald, I imagine he's yelling poison. Everybody, we all play ball. You hear poison on special teams, it means get yourself out the way. Don't block, don't touch nobody. Get out the way. We're not touching it. We're not returning it. Everybody just get out. Poison. Get out the way. So I imagine he's got to be hollering poison. And like I said, he's the Niners guy. He's engaged with the Chief. And these guys, the guys blocking, you don't know where the ball is. You know what I mean? Because you got your hands full. You got another, you know what I'm saying, guy you're battling with. So you don't know where the ball is. And then just as luck, coincidence, momentum, call it what you want to, fate, as it would happen, it falls and smacks homeboy in the ankle. And so Ray McDonald, he sees it. And kudos to him for being aware and recognizing it because this stuff is happening live speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he'd had sweat in his eye and he did like this and didn't even see it hit dude's ankle and then let them pick it up and run it in. Like, bro, I think about all this. Like, it's so many like little small details that can happen, bro, that change this. He's aware, he sees the hit dude's ankle, and when it was live, I didn't even see it. I didn't see it hit his ankle. I just thought maybe he just was foolish and tried to grab it and make a play. Like we see somebody, I was like, what the hell are you doing, boy? Just get away from the ball. But anyway, hits dude's ankle. I'm not even going to blame Ray McLeod for not being able to recover it. I believe it's Ray McLeod. He's generally their returner. Yeah. I'm not even going to blame him for the recovery because, man, that ball does some funny things, man, off those awkward, unexpected bounces. And like I said, it didn't even fall and hit the ground. So maybe it's like a safer way to judge the trajectory. It bounced off his player's ankle. It might have been tipped again. So that ball's going to go anywhere. It had a funny bounce and almost kind of bounced back. And I think that's why he couldn't get it. He almost kind of overran it. and then he can't recover it. Just a very unfortunate play. I hated that for them. You know what I mean? And then kudos to the Chiefs because they cashed in the very next play. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a 1-play touchdown. So like right after the big turnover, and then when you play defense, shout out to Joe Foe or most coaches would tell you, the defense coaches, shot plays coming, man. When there's a big turnover, a big momentum play, you're gonna get a shot play. Like this is, every team I played for kind of talks about this, and Kansas City was no different. 31-yard touchdown. I can't remember who caught that touchdown, but
Valdez-Scantling.
Okay, that's Valdez-Scantling. Okay, yeah, boom, there we go. So boom, touchdown the next play. And like I said, I believe that was Kansas City's first touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the first one.
Okay, yeah. So boom, and so you've got that one really for me was just really a backbreaker, because that's one of those, not 1 in a million plays, but like that's just an atypical play. Like that style of play where the ball hits off a blocker's ankle, Chop, that might happen 5 times a season across all teams. Like that type of, you know what I'm saying? Like guys might muff one. He was looking up, the lights got too big, he took his eyes down. Like you might muff one. We see that more frequently. But just a bad bounce clips a guy's ankle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those lightning in the bottle style plays. And kudos Kansas City for capitalizing as they should. And then of course the third play, the last one, the blocked extra point. And just how vital that was as the game progressed. It's 19-13. No. Yeah, it's 19. No, because it was gonna be 20-19, but they missed the extra point, so it stayed 19-19. So okay, so I guess it must have been 13-19 Chiefs. Am I tripping?
The Chiefs went up 13-10.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there,
did it go 13-13?
Yeah, from there it went. They scored 9, so they went to 19.
Okay, so they stayed. Yeah, so yeah, 19. Okay, so it was 19-13 Chiefs. Then they get a touchdown drive to make it 19-19, and then they get their extra point blocked. And then and so instead of going up 20-19, yeah, there we go. So yeah, and so that one right there as well. And so now field goals will get blocked. Generally, it's on longer field goals. It's not as common to block a short field goal. And so an extra point is a relatively short field goal. You know what I mean? Is it a 30-yard, roughly a 30-yard kick?
Yeah.
And so generally those are because you're able to get enough lift on the ball. You don't have to worry about driving it 55 to 60 yards. So generally those ones are safer, I guess, so to say. Well, they get an extra point blocked. And then that's one of those plays where now in hindsight, who knows how the game plays out, etc., whatever. But if everything I always like to say this, Chop, if everything from that point stays the same, then maybe they win this game 20-19 in regulation. If everything plays out in regulation how it did, maybe it stays the same. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, or whatever the case. But like I said, that's just an unfortunate play as well. Like great timely play by Kansas City. Like I said, they went out and made those plays, and so that's why I'm not gonna take their credit away. They really won this game. And then another thing I'll say as well, and I'm gonna throw it to you. My bad. And I didn't talk too much about Kansas City's. I didn't want to take all the juice.
Oh man, I always got meat left on the bone. Don't even worry about it.
You feel me? You feel me? But I saw, and this I saved this for last because I wanted to ask you about this as well. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, and I want to see what you think. But man, I saw people criticizing the fact that Kyle Shanahan took the ball in overtime, and so for me, I'm like, hell yeah, I want the ball because I want to control my chance to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, go on defense. It's just that. Like, I'm not attacking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have the ball. We have a chance to end this game right now. Why do I even want to give them a chance? Why do I want to give Patrick Mahomes a chance? Because, if it's a touchdown, it's still over. Field goal gives the ball back to Kansas City, but I thought if it's a touchdown, it's still over.
That's why they criticize him, because it's not still over. Not in the Super Bowl. Not or I don't know if it was Super Bowl specific or a playoff specific. Remember the rule change from the Bills Chiefs. We just never had it come up. The Bills Chiefs come out, they score a touchdown. Bills never have a chance to touch the ball. They changed their rule. So Chiefs were going to get an opportunity either way it went. Now, I'm not.
I thought the Chiefs only got the ball back because San Francisco had to kick the field goal. And so if you kick the field goal, the other team gets the chance. That's what I was thinking. I still messed that up.
Yeah. So so for me, I'm still not. I can see why people are criticizing it, and I think a part of it is because everybody always looks at everything in hindsight and try to make up all these reasons why teams should have did things differently. And I think it was a part of the reason why is because, okay, let's say the Chiefs start off with the ball, right? Do they go for it on those fourth down? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a good point.
Because they were down 3, they had no choice but to go for it.
Yeah.
So instead, do they punt, which gives the 49ers the ball? Now, if they go down and score that field goal, the game is over. That's why people were kind of criticizing it because of the difference in how that game could have been played. But for me, it didn't really make a difference for me because I mean, it's just a different ball game anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just because the Chiefs ball first, that doesn't mean that the 49ers going to come back down and drive. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of the reason why teams were criticizing them.
Okay, no, and I'm glad you cleared it up because see, I was thinking that I was still thinking the old rules. Then I was still thinking like they only got the chance to get the ball because they kicked the field goal instead of touchdown. I thought touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's a regular season rule, not a playoff.
Yeah, rule. I forgot. Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah,
and you know what?
So
okay,
I forgot about it too, though, bro. I forgot about it too. I looked into it though because I was like, what's people making up excuses for now? You know what I'm saying? Where were the excuses coming from now? But yeah, that's why.
Okay. Knowing that now I can see, I guess, why maybe you want to kick it away. But I'm never gonna fault or knock a coach for. I'm never gonna be a guy that's gonna fault a guy for saying like, nah, man, let's go apply the pressure. Like taking the ball still applies the pressure. Like, because in my mind, we take the ball because we're scoring a touchdown. So now we've forced them to step up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? So I can never knock anybody for saying, man, forget that. Like if I got 2 options. I can try to dive, I can try to weave his jab, or I can throw my own. I'm gonna throw mine always. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm never like I'm never the guy that blames the game on the rules of the game because it's like at the end of the day, y'all still scored 3 first, and y'all had an opportunity to stop them from scoring. But no, y'all didn't even hold them to a field goal. They went and scored a touchdown. Like, no, you got to stop them.
Flat out, bro. Flat out. And your defense played great. So it wasn't a tall ask. Now, Patrick is special. We know that. But, man, they had duked it out with Patty all day long. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, Patty only scored 19 points in the game until that point. So I don't even want to hear, like, man, you don't give Pat. Like, nah, man, we handle Pat all day. So, I'm not going to let that defense off the hook. Y'all got to step up and do and keep it going and make a play, man. And so, yeah.
And that's it. And that's what they got to do, Willie Jack. And I like a lot of things that you said, Willie Jack. And for me, that's kind of why I view this was as a game of opportunities. Okay. Because you look at the turnovers, like, yeah, you can say, all right, this, you know, some people may say, oh, these turnovers cost them or these turnovers cost them. But looking at the game in total, both teams had 2 turnovers. Okay. The difference was one team was able to capitalize on a turnover. The other team wasn't. So it was the Chiefs that were able to score off of that punt, but the 49ers were not able to. The 49ers got the interception. No points came of that. Then they got the fumble from Pacheco too earlier in that game.
That's right.
They didn't score any points on that.
And it was inside the red. It was more damning than I think C-Max because he fumbled on like the 6-yard line.
Yeah, they were at the he fumbled on the 6. They were inside the 10-yard line. You know what I'm saying? Right after the Pat Mahomes completes a long pass to Hardman, who came up big in this game, honestly. Completely a long pass to Hardman, and they go to the run with Pacheco, and Pacheco ends up fumbling. And 49ers didn't get any points off of that either. So those were missed opportunities for this particular team. And then you already mentioned them, Willie Jack, but talk about the fumble earlier in the game by McCaffrey that could have led to some points, and then the block extra point. Those are 2 things let's just say at least that's 4 points. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That the 49ers have, in their hands if they're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? But those are just some of the opportunities that they had in this game. But just to summarize it from my point of view, the 49ers came on locked in. Period. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
Their defense was locked in this game, and their opening game plan, I think, was nice, and that's what enabled them to kind of march down the field. They utilized Kyle Juszczyk a little bit to help on that opening drive.
Oh yeah.
So they had it going. The 49ers had it, but like I said in the pregame show, and Willie Jack, can you remind, before I jump all the way into this, can you remind me what I said?
You had said that you had predicted Chris Jones to be the MVP in this one, man, and have a big game. Okay. And then I think you said Brock Purdy's gonna have 2 turnovers. Then you gave C-Mac a $125 and a touchdown. Those are your 3 nuggets for the game.
Okay, and then what was my final score of the game? Willie
Jack? Yeah, okay, yeah. Your final score was Kansas City 24, San Francisco 23.
Oh, so I was just 1 point off each game. Okay, all right. But anyway, what I was getting ready to say is kind of like what I spoke about in the beginning of or in our pregame show was that this wasn't going to be that high scoring game. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't going to be any of that. It was going to be a methodical game where you were just going to have to work and fight, and it's going to be a physical game, and the team that was able to do that the best was going to come away with the W. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what kind of happened in this game. Okay? That's essentially what kind of happened. And then it was going to be a game of adjustments, and the adjustment had to start immediately. So the Chiefs defense, understanding what the 49ers were planning on doing to them in this particular game, they had to make adjustments right away to prevent them from being able to continue to march down the field on them. And they did. They made those adjustments, and they were locked in, okay? But going back to the 49ers and some of their good on defense, they didn't allow nothing for the Chiefs, especially in their first half. They was getting after Mahomes, and we just talked about him not being a quarterback that sacked often, was sacked 3 times in this game. Yeah. But then on top of that, some of those didn't go down as sacks because nobody was open. And he was able to scramble, and he maybe got 1 or 2 yards on like a third down. To me, that was just like sacks to me. They were sacking him 1 or 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. So, of course, they don't go down in the books as sacks, but
not for sure. And then also, real quick, don't forget, he also had an intentional grounding that would have been a sack if he didn't do the intentional grounding. So that's just as good as a sack as well.
Absolutely. So those were 3 extra plays. So essentially, we're looking at about like 3 sacks that happened on Pat Mahomes, who's normally not sacked this much. So that's how tough and locked in this 49ers defense was. And then on top of that, of course, they stuffed the run. You know what I mean? The leading rusher in this game for the Chiefs, not in this game, but leading rusher for the Chiefs ended up being Pat Mahomes. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Playoff P.
Because it was another one of those ugly, some more of those ugly.
Oh man, dog, how does he do it, dog? And I was in the group like, man, how does he do this, bro? Go ahead, yeah.
Man, for real. But you know what? The Chiefs defense, you got to give them their credit because they held strong too. You know what I'm saying? Even with the lack of success on their offense and the lack of them being able to hold the ball for as long or keep ball control, they held the 49ers to just 10 points the entire first half. Okay, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Holding the Chiefs to 10 points after you not been able to get on the board. They end up scoring 3 at the end of the second quarter, but still just holding them to 10 points and your team wasn't doing nothing. And I got to give credit to McDuffie, man. Got to give it because he continued to show throughout this game. Now he had the penalty later in the game, but
he did. And it was legit too. I seen some people complain about the penalty. No, it was legit.
It was a holding.
He wrapped around dude's waist. He got beat up the line.
McDuffie, one of the biggest plays, and people, I don't even know if people probably think this play was as big as what I thought it was. It was in the second quarter. The 49ers, remember, the 49ers are up. The Chiefs aren't able to do nothing on offense. The 49ers take a shot downfield. It's one-on-one coverage. It's McDuffie.
Him and Debo.
A shot to the end zone. McDuffie is right there to get the pass deflection. He's right in Debo's hip pocket. Mm-hmm. That play was a huge play because I think that could have been a difference in really spreading this game out into making it a 17-0 game.
Yeah.
And half when the Chiefs aren't able to do nothing on offense. And like I said before, this offense, if they get down as much as they were a few years back, I don't know if they're getting back into this game.
Yeah.
But McDuffie been in that spot at the right time, man. You got to give him his credit there, man. He showed up big. And of course, like I said, he showed up multiple times throughout the rest of the game. You know, he had a big pass deflection late in the game as well.
Yeah.
Get the ball back against the Chiefs. And even a call blitz coming right down the middle against Purdy's face caused him to have to throw the ball away. And I think that was huge in this game. So it was just routinely him showing up and Spagnuolo, man, calling a brilliant defensive game plan. So you had that. And let me see. And then let's go back to the overtime drive. Okay. And there was another opportunity that was missed too. The overtime drive by the 49ers. They drive the ball and they were playing well too. Purdy was doing what he needed to do. He got the ball into his playmaker's hands. Christian McCaffrey made a long.
That's what I was going to say. They got back to running the ball on that drive.
They got down to the 8-yard line.
Yeah.
And what happens? They get the blitz from McDuffie. Chris Jones ends up getting
unblocked, dog.
And they cause an incomplete pass, and the 49ers have to settle for a field goal. That was so huge in this game. And then this is where we break down the difference in QB play. And then I'm done after this. Willie Jack kind of clean it up.
No, go ahead.
Because it's the same way we just talked about Purdy dealing with those blitzes coming in his face. We watched Pat Mahomes go on this drive. The Chiefs are driving. The 49ers send 7 at him. Send 7 players coming down his throat. Sits in the pocket.
God, man, hey, and that was 2, man. You had one before that as well, man. God
okay. All right, let's start over.
Flagrant foul on the play, man.
49ers. The 49ers, they send 7 men on the blitz. Pat Mahomes stands in the pocket and hits Rashee Rice coming across the middle for like a 15-yard gain, 16-yard gain, and on a crucial 3rd and 7 play. Mm-hmm. Those were the types of plays that Mahomes routinely made, along with the runs that he had on that last drive to keep the drive going, find those lanes, getting crucial first down. Like I said, he led the team in rushing with 66 rushing yards, and his biggest runs came on that very last drive. And all of those things, of course, he ends up hitting the game-winning touchdown to McCole Hardman. But all of those reasons are why Pat Mahomes is the best, man. He, like you said, he's King Mahomes. This is his league, and
no, it's no doubt about it. And then real quick, I wanted to point out the play you talked about with Chris Jones, just how timely that was. And then shout out to Brian Baldinger, man. If y'all not following him on Instagram, follow Baldy.
Hey, he breaks it down for sure.
Excellent breakdowns on Instagram, man. Pulling film. You know, we like letting film speak around him.
Absolutely.
So he shows an excellent clip of that Chris Jones play where he just comes untouched. And what it was, the right guard just missed the block. The right guard, you can tell what everybody's doing. He's supposed to fan, and instead of going right, instead of sliding right, he slides left away from Chris Jones, and Chris Jones is on a runway right out here staying sprinting dead at Brock Purdy. And it make it so sad, bro. And what's just so tragic about this game that we call football, Brandon Ayuk dropped Snead off the line and is butt-ass naked in the end zone, bro. But as you didn't see that clip, I'm going to find it and send it to you.
Yeah, you got to send it to me because
Jarius Snead is on the ground.
That reminds me of the Rams game.
Bro, slipped off the release. He's on the ground, and Ayuk is in the middle of the end zone, probably crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, naked. And then not even that, too. So there was that. And then even he had to, and honestly, I'm not going to put up, because, like, he was unblocked and dead sprint at him. And so, and Ayuk was on his left. And so, I think Jawan Jennings was probably his first read, and he threw it over Jawan Jennings' head to just throw it out of bounds. But honestly, if he could have, if not for the pressure, there's a chance that if he's able to give Jawan Jennings a good ball, that might have been a touchdown. You know what I mean? But one guy goes left instead of right. You let the best player on the field free. You know what I'm saying? And now you just gotta You got to do what you got to do. You got to get it out there. You got to take that 3 because it's 3rd down. Now it's going to be 4th down. So, okay, let me take this 3. But, man, that was tragic. And then just like you said, man, playoff Pat. I don't know. It's plays like this that make me think that sometimes that script talk. Playoff P runs 22 yards up the middle on that scramble. He ran right by Fred Warner. Fred Warner is approaching him, and then it looked like he just looked at Pat as Pat just kept going by. I'm like, what? He just ran right by Fred Warner. What is Fred doing? And Fred couldn't catch him. Fred had to stop, try to turn around and re-get it. I was like, man, I don't know what the hell's going on. How does Patty do it? 22 yards later, big 3rd down conversion. And so just like you said, man, using his legs. Now, Chop told y'all about the score, but let me tell y'all about my prediction because your boy had something going as well. I got something right. My MVP of this game was predicted to be Patrick Mahomes with 320 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, we didn't quite get the 3 touchdowns, but y'all was in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Josh Nichols, my Steelers brethren. You know what I'm saying? He was like 300 yards on that Niners defense. I said, boy, you better watch. Something. Now, I ain't gonna lie. It didn't happen the way I thought it was gonna happen. But final stats of the game for the MVP, your boy called. You know what I'm saying? 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, not 3. You know what I'm saying? 2 touchdowns. But then 66 rushing. The boy had 399 total yards for scrimmage in this game, Chop. Mr. Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? So just like I said, man, phenomenal play. Always just seems to find a way to just rise to the occasion, man. The moment's never too big. The lead is never too big by the other team. None of it matters. If you give Patrick Mahomes the ball back enough times, he's going to find a way to get it done, man. And so just a super special player. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think it was going to – as soon as they got the ball back in the regular season, like their last drive.
I thought they was going to score a touchdown.
I thought it was game time. I was in the chat. I was like, oh, man, you can cancel Christmas. Y'all done gave Patty the ball back with what 2? It was on the plus side. A
minute 53.
No, minute 52 and 2 timeouts. Boy, it might as well have been the second quarter. That's too much time for Patty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was over.
He said it might as well have been the second quarter.
Man, you hear me? It might as well have been a new game, Chop. A minute 52 and 2 timeouts for Patty? Come on, man. So I was surprised that it was over there. Like, that's just the type of confidence he instills, man. And he's earned that type of respect, man, from you know, like I said, man, we're watching live what he's doing as a player, and it's phenomenal, man. So kudos to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. Damn good job, man, for sure.
Absolutely. So congratulations to the Chiefs, man. Congratulations to the 49ers, man. Y'all still are NFC championship champions, man. But hey, there's only one guy that can be the best in the league, man, and it was Andy Reid and those Chiefs, man. So congratulations to those boys.
I know we found a way to have a full damn episode when it's just us here talking, and I apologize, but I can't let you out of here without asking you about 2 more things from this game. The first one, Travis Kelce running up on Andy like that, man. Did you see that? He almost knocked Andy over.
I did.
Like, I don't know, cause like it's been a lot of back and forth, like online, and people like some people blowing it off, some people maybe blowing it up. Like, where do you land on that?
I stand in the middle. I stand in the middle of that. I feel like it was a little bit too far for Travis Kelce to do that. Like, it's one thing to get emotional and kind of yell or whatever the case may be, but at the same time, it's like, hey man, this Andy Reid now. This Andy. He knows
that's the coach, bro.
But it ain't just a coach. Like, he's been here a few times. Like, he's been here before. You know what I'm saying? He knows. It's certain guys. It's like, all right, man. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, all right, whatever. You know, so even if y'all have a little bit, if me and you have a little bit of a disagreement, Willie Jack, on something, it's like, nah, that's my dog Willie Jack. He good for it. So even if I don't agree this time around, all right, I still trust him. You know what I'm saying? I still trust him. And I think that's what it is with Travis Kelce. I feel like, yeah, I know you got upset at your coach. You know what I'm saying? You frustrated. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. And it's a real big game. But you've been here before. Your head coach has been here before. Your quarterback has been here before. A lot of your teammates have been here before. Hey, keep your composure a little bit better than that. Keep your composure. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as maybe I've seen or heard some people go. I'm not gonna go that far because, hey man, it's a man's game. It's an emotional game. You know what I'm saying? So you get a little bit of emotion. Sometimes people step a little bit outside of their body. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna go as far as maybe what AJ Brown came out and tweeted or whatever he said in terms of.
I didn't see that.
It was me. I think he said something like, if it was me, they would have did this type of punishment to me. Like I'm not gonna go that far. It probably would have been blown up a little bit more if they would have lost, but they won. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, winning is the cure all, man. Winning is the cure all.
It cures all of that. But yeah, I kind of stand in the middle, man. I think Travis Kelce went a little bit too far, but I'm not gonna blow it out of proportion. Like things like this don't happen, and like players just can't make no type of mistakes. This is a Super Bowl team here, man. So
yeah. Now, and I ain't gonna lie, like for me, like, well, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say he was a little out of line. He was way over the line. Like, you can't run up on the coach, bro.
Nah, you can't.
Like, you can't put hands on the coach. You know what I'm saying? He almost knocked Andy big ass over. You know what I'm saying? And like, you can't, like, I know, like, yeah, you get emotional, yell, cuss, even maybe. You know what I'm saying? But man, he almost took Andy off his feet, bro. And Andy about 64.
So you think Travis get a little beside himself with Taylor Swift on his side? Is that what you say? You think he got a little bit?
Hey, why you had to throw this? Hey, why you had to throw? You know what, man? Taylor got him feeling himself.
Hey, man, Cass
got too much dip on his chip now.
Man, you hear me? Cass get a little something on their side, man. They start acting different, bro.
You might be right.
I've seen it time and time again, man. He got a little bit more clout. He got a little bit more clout, man.
I don't think I've ever seen Travis run up on Andy like that before Taylor was in the box. You might be on to something. Hey, might be on to something.
Hey, man, it happens, man. Cats be feeling themselves, man. They be a little bit of the sauce. He done started getting people saying, "I want the Travis Kelce fade" and all.
Man,
man. Hey,
yeah, they going too far. They going too far. But no, I'm like, I don't necessarily like AJ Brown said, as far as like punishing them and all of this. Like that's a little overboard. Right. But I do think it was egregious, bro. Like, man, you can love your coach, you can hate your coach, whatever, but man, you can't put your hands on the coach now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't like damn near knock the coach over. And like, you know what I'm saying? On national television. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we see you, you know what I'm saying, chewing this man out, and then Andy was so thrown off, he just had to take it. You know what I'm saying? It was a terrible look. But
it didn't look good at all.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It was a terrible look, man. And then last thing, man, I know we ran late, and I'm sorry, bro. I really am too. This one, this on me. I did not expect the power rank. I was thinking, man, power rank, we just gonna get through. But nah, you was right. You was like,
you good, brother. You good, bro. Come on with it.
You was right. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, man.
Oh, shit.
There's people calling it right now. There's people. Oh, okay. I see your reaction. I see where you're leaning. But is he already the GOAT? I mean, has he done enough right now to be the GOAT in your eyes?
Nah. And the reason why is because the thing that happens a lot is we become prisoners of the moment. Okay. And right now, Pat Mahomes is doing some incredible things for sure. Back to back, you know what I'm saying? But let's not forget, Tom Brady also won back to back. You know what I'm saying? And by this number of seasons in the league, Tom Brady also had 3 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's a lot of those things. Now, don't get me wrong. And I just had the crazy part. I just had this conversation with my brother, right? And the crazy part is skill-wise, in terms of ability, I think Pat Mahomes has that. And I don't think there's an argument there in terms of his ability to move outside of the pocket, his mobility, you know what I'm saying, his arm talent, like all of those different things he has. But I think there are certain other intangibles that Tom Brady had, you know, and which also helped him find ways to win as well. You know what I'm saying? Also, don't get me wrong, Pat Mahomes, in terms of like just his stats and the era he started in the game, his stats are going to be I think his stats are going to end up blowing Tom Brady's out of the water once it's all said and done. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have to see how much more Pat Mahomes will accomplish as he continues to go. At this trend, if he continues with this trend, yeah, he's going to end up being there. But I'm not just going to discredit the last 4 Super Bowls that Tom Brady had. You know what I'm saying? You 3 in, big dog, and you doing a damn good job, but you still got 4 more. And I'm not saying that he needs to get 7. I don't think he needs to get 7, but 4 more Super Bowls is still like a plethora.
It's a whole other hand. It's a whole other hand of Super Bowl.
That's a lot of work that Tom Brady put in over the years. You know what I'm saying? All the way up until the age of 40. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, yeah, it's just a lot of those things that kind of come into play for me, which I can't just overlook just because he's doing a damn good job now. I mean, look at how many quarterbacks we've seen and we've assumed, all right, man, he's coming, he's gonna be back soon. He's gonna be back at some point. You know, when we watched how dominant some of their performances were, like some of the MVPs and some of the all the damn. You asked Dan Marino definitely would have.
Well, no, I think it's a little different, Patty, because he has
he actually has.
So it is a little different, but I see what you're saying.
You asked him, you asked Peyton Manning, he definitely would have thought he was gonna make some more Super Bowls. You asked Aaron Rodgers, he definitely would have thought he was gonna be back to another Super Bowl. Like, it's a lot of quarterbacks out there, and I'm not saying that they Pat Mahomes. I'm just saying, like, things can change like this. So the next few years, if depending on what happens, you know, we just have to see, bro. But right now, I can't crown him right now. Everybody trying to crown him right now. Yeah. Nah, I can't just discredit the body of the rest of the body of work of Tom Brady. But as far as right now, he's on pace.
Okay. And so now there's two parts of this for me, and I'm gonna try to be quick. Right now, I'm gonna say no, but slightly. And the reason why is because, and this is the thing about how the story that is Tom Brady. Tom Brady had 2 careers. So to this point in their careers, career for career, if Tom Brady retired after his first 3 Super Bowls, you know who he is? He's Trent Dilfer plus. He's a little bit better than Trent Dilfer. Okay, maybe not that. That's a little, but what I'm saying is, Patty's first 3 and Tom's first 3, no comparison. Patty is blowing Tom's first 3 out the water. Tom was a passenger on his first 3. He was a passenger on his first 2 for sure. You know what I'm saying? And then the third one is where he started. He maybe kind of came more so into his own, but he still wasn't that guy. They won them for, you remember, like, let's look at Patrick Mahomes, the way he just won that last Super Bowl. You know how Tom Brady won his? He had to get to the 50-yard line and let Adam Vinatieri boot him in. You know what I'm saying? And then you win. A win is a win, but Tom got his team to the 40-yard line. Let's let Adam Vinatieri take it home. Whereas Patrick, we saw what Playoff P had to do, you know what I'm saying, the way he wins his. And so I think that dynamic, so to this point, if I line them up to this point, Patrick's ahead of him. I'm giving him credit for his 3. But like you said, there's 4 more, man. There's 4 more. And the thing about it for me is, because I've heard people say, like, well, he's got 7. I don't think he has to get 7 to do it either. Because honestly, we like to overlook it. It's we nobody talks about it because, you know, spoiled milk or rotten grapes or whatever you want to call it. But there's asterisks on 3 of them rings, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you say what you want to. There's asterisks on 3 of them rings. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? All the cheating scandals and allegations, all the things. Still, like, hiding people in the top of the stadium watching plays from the Rams. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stuff going on in a lot of those championships. You know what I mean? But some of those are a little tainted. It's not as clean for me. But I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Patty get 1 more, man. I'm probably gonna be ready to call it. Because I'm talking about, like, now I'm assuming he's still gonna have a full career. But just like you said, like, skill for skill, talent for talent, he's superior. I don't know if anybody can realistically say a trait, a physical trait that Tom Brady has on the field that's superior to Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have the arm. Tom had pocket mobility. Patrick's got that, and I can scoop. Somehow he can. But you know what I'm saying? So, like, he's got that plus. You know what I'm saying? He's accurate. You know what I'm saying? He's got great accuracy. You know what I'm saying? In fact, he's more dynamic because he can throw off platform. He can go off schedule. He can boot left. I can no look and throw it 40 yards on the line. So he trumps all of that. And then even, like, now Tom did also have his own style of like winning factor or kind of clutch factor or clutch gene, but not like this, man. Not like this. I remember too many big picks. I don't know
about that one, bro.
No, not like this, bro. It
ain't different. It ain't too much different, bro.
No, man, bull jive.
You alive, bro.
Nah, not like this, bro. Because here's another thing as well to remember. Like, Tom, like how many of these? Like, we've seen time and time again, Patrick's down double digits You know what I'm saying? Like, Tom just didn't even have to deal with that a lot of the time, bro. In championship moments, Tom didn't have to bat. Like, Tom and those Patriots teams, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many times? Like, they didn't bat outside of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? They didn't battle back from 10, 15, 20-point deficits. You know what I'm saying? Like, even on the road, like, he didn't have to battle back from things like that, man. Like, I think there's an element to Patty's, like, clutch factor that just Tom just didn't have to deal with that most of the time. Normally, they were the pace car. They were setting the pace most times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man.
But it's a reason why he has that. He has it. Like, it's a. But majority of his Super Bowls, he had to put together the game-winning drives.
Those drives to the 40-yard line for Vinatieri?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can't do. Hold on.
Getting to the 40-yard line, that's
Willie
what we're talking about.
Well, one, let's stop it and let's not just walk or just run it off, because if the game is tied and you got the ball and you're running the clock out, you're not going down driving down the field to score a touchdown. You trying to put your team in position to kick the field goal. Like, nobody's trying to score a touchdown on that. Nobody is. You trying to run the clock out and kick the field goal.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, football. Man. No. I mean, not okay. And you got to do what you got to, whatever it takes to win the game. So at the end of the game, he did win those games, but he was a passenger in them first two, bro. He's a full-fledged passenger, dog. He was a passenger. If you think Brock Purdy is a well-oiled machine and he's just getting spoon-fed and colored inside the lines, boy, them first two time rings, they don't look as good as Brock Purdy. Them first two time rings don't look as good as Brock Purdy, bro.
I think you're going too far. Tom Brady never had the system that Brock Purdy had. Never.
Tom Brady is the greatest system quarterback in the history of this league.
That's a fault.
Until like I said, that's what I say. He's got two careers, bro. Like, there's the first 10 years, and then there's those second 10 years when Randy Moss got there and turned him up. When he got Randy Moss and threw 30 touchdowns for the first time in his career, threw for 4,000 yards in the first time in his career. These aren't great plateaus to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he got Randy and got turned up, like,
if you want to tell me they were a defensive led team, I'm
that's good without question. That's what I'm saying, without question.
Right. I'm okay with it. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't the system on offense that would help that team be successful when they scored on offense. No, it was not, bro. It was.
You wilding, bro.
No, you wilding, bro.
It's wilding, man. Those first, man, you gotta go back and watch them first two.
Tom Brady never in his career was just dropping back, throwing it to open guys everywhere on the field and had all of the talent that 49ers had. Stop it, bro. Come on, man. You tripping.
I want you to go back and look at them first two, man.
No, you go back and look, bro.
Tom Brady was the type of quarterback that would throw 22 passes a game. You know what I'm saying? Because the game was not in his hands, bro. Don't mess this up for us, Tom. And he did that better than anybody.
But the boy was throwing to Troy Brown. Bro, stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. He didn't have Rob.
Deion Branch.
He didn't have Rob his whole career. Yeah, Deion Branch. Yeah,
Deion Branch. Deion Branch. You know what I'm saying?
Deion Branch.
And Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. He had dominant. We can't discount these dominant Patriot defenses as well. You know, like, I'm saying that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not discrediting the defense. The defenses were dominant.
Those teams were built for a guy to come in and be, and not like I said, he was a guy, come in here, don't mess it up, and that's what he did for the first two, bro. Them first two. The third one, he was like, you know what I'm saying, he was solid. You know what I'm saying, that third one, and then of course we know what happened in Seattle. You know what I'm saying, Seattle tricked one off. Atlanta blew a bag, tricked one off. You know what I'm saying? Now he goes to Tampa Bay and they spanked Kansas City for one. You know what I'm saying? Patty's running for his life. You know what I'm saying? So that one's solid. But that's why I say, man, Patty gets one more, it might as well be tied up for me. Like I said, it feels like there's some asterisks. I can't give him full credit for that first one. And then the Seahawks and the Atlanta one, they feel a little, I'm not gonna say fluky. They feel a little funny.
Bro, you definitely can't discredit him for the Atlanta one. You definitely can't, bro. Because it was all him. There was nobody else. That was all Tom Brady. That's it.
Julian Edelman with the diving shoestring fingertip catch in triple coverage, who was the MVP.
That one catch does not outweigh everything Tom Brady had to do that whole second half to get him back in the game. Bro, stop it.
Imagine if the Falcons would have had one first down in the second half. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is it felt like Atlanta lost that game. That's when it felt like Atlanta lost that game, man. It felt like Atlanta lost that game, man.
No, they definitely blew it, but you still can't just discredit the
performance.
they
did, you know. Yeah, but I mean, they did.
Bro,
you know what that game feel like? Feel like Justin Herbert being up 27 points in his playoff game and letting somebody come back and win. It's like, yeah, kudos to the Jaguars, but man, they make me look harder at the Chargers. Like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? Like, that's how I feel about that one. Like, no, kudos to the Patriots. They did come back and win, but it makes me just look hard at the Falcons. Like, bro, y'all really did that, bro? Yeah. Like, yeah, but you know.
Yeah. And you know who was the head coach, right?
Dan Quinn? Yeah. You thought you had, so Dan Quinn was the head coach. Everybody wants to put that on Shanahan. Because Quinn was the coach.
But because Shanahan was calling the offensive plays. That's why.
Hey, you know what? Like John Harbaugh, Dan Quinn should have told Kyle, hey, run the ball, bro. Run the ball. Be a coach. Be a difference maker on your team, John Harbaugh. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, hey man, I don't know how we got this long without talking to
you tried to start something on the last one. That's what you trying to do.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't think you was gonna go so hard against Patty and that GOAT talk. Like, I'm not ready to give it to him yet. I do want to see another one. Then of course I want to see him. I'm not even worried about the final numbers because you already know how I feel about it. I don't need you to give me 20 years worth of numbers. What were you like at your superpowers? And at the superpowers, playing at the level he's playing for, and this is just the start. He's just now entering. This was scary, bro. As a quarterback, Patty's just now entering his prime. Like, he's what, 27? Bro, he's just now getting in his quarterback prime.
Like right now,
prime is like right 27 to 34. He's just now getting there. Bro, man, hey, look, man. It's scary. It's a scary outlook for everybody else, bro. It's scary, man. It's scary hours, but yeah, I digress. You know what I mean? I digress, man. But I like what you had to say there, man. That was fun. Remind me of the old days.
You wanted to start something before this night.
I know. I wish we had time. We could have got into that. I wish we lucky we ain't got no time. You know, we could have got into that.
You lucky my kids asleep. That's what you lucky for.
Yeah, man. But that feels good, man.
Well, hey, man. Hey, we came, we saw, we conquered, man. We done went through the Super Bowl for y'all, man. We done did the reviews. We done did power rankings, man. We done gave y'all a lot in this show, more than we both expected, man. We went 2-15 for y'all, man. So I would appreciate y'all. I hope y'all having a great night on this lovely Valentine's Day, man.
There you go. Curl up with your boo while you listen to Chop and Willie give you this gospel.
Absolutely, Willie Jack. Hey, I think it's about time. Go on and bring us on out of here.
Hey, there you go, man. Just like my dog said, man, that's it. That's all. Appreciate y'all rocking with your boys as always, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed y'all Valentine's night. And hey, tap in with your dogs. No games no more, man. So no Sunday show, man. But we will be back Wednesday, 7 o'clock. You know we ain't gonna wear no watches. We will see y'all then. Peace.